32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy and Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Surlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations, I'm Spaceboy.
I'm Surlana.
And this is Spaceboy Universe. It is October 14, 2017, and tonight's wonderful show is Dreams, and we'll dive deep into that. As always, you can follow the universe on Twitter, that's at the SBU Universe. Follow the host that gives you this fine programming, that's at Surlana and at Spaceboy Music. And of course, follow the networks to provide you the content, and that's at the SBU Network and our good friends at PAUK Radio. Hey, you want to follow the Space Cadets? You can do so by hanging out with them in the chat room. That is at spaceboyuniverse.com. Click the dancing chat bubble, and that'll get you in with all the cool kids. Of course, also remember that you need to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SB Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. You know, in addition to Twitter, you can find the universe on Facebook, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. So many different places to choose from. And you know, speaking of YouTube, you can find more than the SBU of archive of shows there. There is video content from SBU Music, SBU Interviews, and 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. So get there, subscribe, become an official Space Cadet by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Can't catch the show live? No problemo. Take SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, and iTunes, and of course, courtesy of PAUK Radio Network. And with that said, you know, because we love to broadcast, here is the lovely Surlana.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man. So we made it through another week, Surlana.
Oh, my gosh. What a crappy little week it's been. I'm still not over whatever this dadgum sinus crap is. I'm still coughing, sneezing, running, stuffing, itchy nose, just irritated. Mm-hmm. It hasn't stopped. I'll probably cough tonight. I can't help it. The later it gets in the evening, the worse it is. I don't know why. It won't just move on, and I've tried everything. So, got that to deal with. It was so busy at work this week, and Thursday evening when I got home from work, I noticed something was off with our cat. So I worried about it, and then I Googled what I saw she was doing, and it said, well, those are signs of UTI. Dear Lord, do I know all about urinary tract infections, unfortunately. So if she was going through what I've been through in the past, I know exactly how she feels. So I finally broke down and took her to the animal hospital emergency one, which is not far from here. And I was there with her Thursday night, 8:30 till almost 11:30 at night. Just me and her. And that was tough. And so I took her back yesterday because I had not seen her urinate since we came home Thursday night. And we went to work Friday, so I didn't know what was going on. So I looked everywhere. She hadn't done anything. I was worried she was blocked, so I took her back, and then Spaceboy came with me last night. And they said she's fine. She just didn't have a lot inside her, so she didn't really need to go yet. And but she's acting like herself. We had our morning cuddles. She's hungry. She's eating. She's eating a lot. She's still drinking. We got her some really awesome drugs for bladder spasming and pain, they gave her the kind of drugs you and I cannot get unless we get like a letter from the president. So she's just wandering around being herself, playing, and I'm hoping she'll be fine. I've got a follow-up visit with our regular vet Monday morning, so hopefully she'll get better. But because that was going on, that is the only thing I cared about for the last 2 days. So my research for tonight is a bit on the light side, but I found a way to make it interesting and entertaining, and I'll get into that later.
Well, I want to backtrack for a second, too. As Surlana has mentioned, she's been suffering from some allergies. I'm still suffering from this persistent cough. It seems like I had the same thing last year. And, periodically,
fall.
It kicks in, and then, and then I know it'll taper off sometime soon.
Well, everybody's got, at work, has got the burning eyes.
Well, it cannot help with the fact that, Houston is still recovering from hurricane matters.
It's just terrible with the allergies.
You've got a lot of this junk that's still out in front of people's yards that haven't been picked up. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of finger wagging that who's going to pick up the bill. And,
Governor said he'll do it, I thought.
Well, the governor, he's straight up. I can go with it. The Sylvester Turner, on the other hand,
our mayor,
was about to lay a tax on the people here in Houston.
Not going to go well.
And trust me, it would not have gone well. I mean, we're taxed enough as it is, and considering that Texas has this rainy day fund.
We've had it forever.
And we have quite a few dollars in our fund that could cover a lot of the expenses and go a long way.
If that's not the definition of a rainy day, a hurricane.
We had a heck of a rainy day.
9 trillion gallons is not your rainy day fund? Come on.
Well, I think Greg Abbott is going to go ahead and help out the good people of Houston. I mean, not to detract from those in Corpus Christi or anything, but
Rockport,
but
Port Arnassus.
So
that really got
really
destroyed.
And then on top of that,
leveled.
They've been planning on tearing our streets up to go to what is called city drainage. Right now, what we have is kind of
ditches.
Ditches.
Old school.
And so they're coming back in and putting proper drainage and all that, which it's going to be great when it's all done.
And they get the taxes for it.
Yeah, they'll get the taxes for that. But the upside is that one, we didn't flood. I mean, we didn't get our house flooded when all that rain went down. But
parts of this place,
parts of the neighborhood did. Yeah, further down the neighborhood where the ground slopes down. Unfortunately for them, but still, it'll be good to have that because. It'll get a lot of the water out of the way. Now, I guess what I'm getting at is that, between the, unfortunate people that got hit and had to gut their homes, had put all their trash onto the curb area, or the lack thereof, where a curb would be where it meets the street. Then you've got all this construction where they're tearing up our roads. And
so what are they going to do when they come to people who have got all the debris? Are they just moving it? Paving it, and they just put the trash back where they found it?
Well, I was eyeballing further down the street, to see what they were doing, but I haven't really seen what they're actually, if they're taking the trash or not taking the trash or whatever. But, once they get towards our end of the street, which I'm guessing probably another couple months, which we're on a dead-end street, but we'll see how all that trash goes. If the people of Houston, the contractors they're hiring doesn't come in here to get it first, it'll be interesting to see who gets it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dallas offered to help, and our mayor said, well, I don't want to take away from your city's regular routine of trash pickup. I don't want to just disrupt it. If we get we get up against the wall, maybe we'll call y'all. So
there were a few issues here in Houston during that time with the rain and people not opening their doors versus people opening the doors. But I don't want tonight's show to be all about Liquid Church and kind of go from there. So, but anyway, I guess let's go on because I really want to get into the subject matter of subscriptions.
Okay.
And don't you have something?
Oh, you want me to
and I can put icing on that cake?
Well, something I've noticed with the internet is happening now. It just reinforces that the golden age of the internet happened in the 90s and it's long gone and it will never come back. And I feel like the internet's dying. So a lot of my favorite websites are doing, I'm sorry, I'm going to cough. A lot of my favorite websites that I visit are going to this, like, either turn off your ad blocker or subscribe to our subscription service. You don't have to see ads. And I'm like, oh, for heaven's sakes, how can you do this? But now I try to think this. As someone who creates content, this show, and we have our own social media and stuff, if I thought there's enough people who would pay for our stuff to listen to it, I think I'd do it too, because running this show isn't cheap and we're not making any money off of it. The hope is that we can, but so far it's just an expensive hobby. But
to say the least. On
the other hand, if I liked this show, I wouldn't want to have to pay for it, and that's kind of, I feel like I'm gonna have to turn off my ad blocker. The whole reason I got it is because of these intrusive ads. They lock up my computer. They take so long to load on a web page, whereas you turn on the ad blocker, you just bypass all it. So some of these I found out that I can go turn it off, refresh the page, satisfy it, and then turn it back on before they finish loading. So I don't have to, see them all. But so I'm torn. I see their point. Their advertising helps pay for the running of the web page. But on the other hand, I'm like, I don't want to see your ads. I'm not buying that product. I don't care about that product. It has nothing to do with my life. It's the reason I went to YouTube Red. Because I got to the point where I watched the same Pepsi ad so many times. It's like, I will never, for the rest of my life, drink a Pepsi product for as long as I live just because of this. And I pretty much stuck to that. So it's easy to do to not drink any Pepsi products, But so I'm kind of torn, and I'm kind of ticked off about it too. I mean, why do we... remember the good old days when there was like the Wild West in web pages. Things used to be more fun, more entertaining. It seemed like there was more diverse content. Now it all seems to be aimed at the same kind of people, same kind of mentality. I don't know if this is millennials. I don't know if it's hipsters. I don't know if it's people in their 30s, but it just seems the same stuff over and over and over.
Let me take a step back here for a second here. And I think from what I've read is that millennials are so used to free. Why should I have to pay for it? It should be free. Give me free this, give me free that. I'm not bashing the millennials. It's just the time and the place where it's kind of gotten to this point where millennials prefer to get their content free. And, and I think that is kind of just a sign of the times, where, you have the old guard who, how can I make money off of this content that's worth money? But then you have the millennials like, okay, I don't want to pay for that. That should be free. And so, they've gone from a time when, like a lot of YouTube stuff, free, free to watch, push play and not have to worry about anything. And now you've got things coming up where, they're putting the ads in. And you've got, now if you want to get them ad-free, you have to buy the subscription. Now, I was having this conversation with you earlier today when, I said, we both jumped ship off of watching cable television because we wanted the freedom to be able to watch what we wanted to watch and not be pigeon-toed down to watching, being, connected to that, enslaved into that,
Right.
And so we broke free and got a Roku device and started watching Amazon program and Netflix and it worked out pretty good. But as time as you go, let's flash forward to now. And now it's like every twice removed distant roommate's cousin has to have their own service to display their wear. Like, for example, we recently read in the news that Disney is taking a lot of their things that they had on Netflix off because they're going to have their own subscription service. And, and then let's not forget Star Trek Discovery being behind a subscription wall. So, all these little things add up, and, it's going to get to a point, well, if it isn't already now, where people don't want to pay $200-$300 for all these subscriptions to get the program that they want to watch. And it's kind of, I think, BS to say the least. I think it's kind of like, how when, before when we had to buy music, you had to buy the whole music, the whole album, you will.
Right.
And, you bought the CD for $16, $17, whatever, depending on what store you went to. And now it's kind of a la carte where you can buy one song off the album and you don't have to buy the rest of the album if you don't want to. I think that the subscription services need to get into the thing where it's kind of like what we do for Amazon.
Right,
we watch the shows we want to watch, shows that you see on History Channel or Discovery or HBO or Showtime and stuff like that. And we only pay for what we want to watch that we find interesting or whatever. There are sometimes we watch shows that tie into the SBU network. But I think these people are going to really shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, maybe, but right now it feels like they're winning because we got what we wanted. We got a la carte. We broke free with cable. We're only paying for what we want to see. But now you've got Disney saying, oh, we're going to go get our own subscription service. You want to watch Star Trek Discovery? You got to subscribe to just CBS. Mm-hmm. You wanted to see the new rebooted Stargate that's coming. Mm-hmm. Well, now you've got is it Sci-Fi or somebody? You've got to do a special subscription to that.
According to Star Command, Stargate Command, mm-hmm. Which is the official site for the Stargate stuff, they're charging $20, and what that does is allow you to see all their programming, meaning all exclusive Stargate shows like Stargate SGU, Atlantis, Universe, and the movies. So you can watch all that, and then plus the new show that's coming out, Star Trek. God, too many Star Treks out there. Stargate Origins, which takes place about when they discovered the gate out in Egypt, and so that. Get this, it's $20 for the sign-up fee. I didn't see where it was a monthly fee or whatever, but I can only assume that if you're getting all this and yada yada yada, that you're going to be paying this for $20 a month, and that is highway robbery to say the least. If it's monthly fee, so just another subscription service that I could probably do without.
Yeah, so it seems like they're winning. Because they're getting you back. It's like, well, we know you want to see this, but now you've got to subscribe. So if you were to sit down and calculate how much all your subscriptions cost, it would probably equal that cable bill, if not more. But still, I don't have to see a lot of foreign language things that I can't understand. I don't have to listen. I don't have to carry ESPN and all these sports packages. I don't have to watch a lot of frivolous content that I don't care about anyway. I still think it's a better deal trying to do a la carte as we do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not too heartbroken with some of these other ones. As you know, I subscribe to the CBS All Access thing.
Traitor.
I know. Say what you will.
Dirty traitor.
It's I'm taking it for the team because I want to see what this is all about, so I can actually sound intelligent when I say. Or when something comes up and I can say, well, I can see your point there, or no, you're absolutely wrong. Now, my biggest beef about this Discovery so far is the Klingons. Whenever they show them, they're all speaking Klingons, Klingonese. Yes, and they have these big subtitles. And what bugs me is it's not like short little things where, they blah, 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 and then it's done. I mean, it's a lot of dang reading that you have to do.
So these actors have got to learn Klingon, well, or at least how to speak it.
Yeah, so I'm a little, like I can probably do with all that, but, so...
Worf learned English.
Yeah, so...
Or they're using that translator thing.
The translator thing. Or he probably speaks Russian because, he had
Ferengi had a universal translator embedded in their cranium. Mm-hmm. So it just works all the time for them.
Mm-hmm. So so there you go. Subscription things, goods, bads, uglies. It is what it is, and I'm still sticking to my guns. And who knows if we'll see how the Stargate Command thing goes, and we'll see. I'll talk about the new Stargate.
I doubt you're going to pay the money for that, though.
No, it's a little pricey for that.
So before we got a few minutes left, let's talk about next weekend, because next weekend we're going to be at Houston Maker Faire, and it is going to be bigger and better than ever. And we talked to the coordinator this afternoon, and he told us a bit about who all and what all is going to be there, and it sounds like a nerd fest to me, or geek fest. It just sounds great. He's going to have a Russian professor who teaches at University of Houston, which I used to work at, and she does designs space architecture. So she's going to be speaking there. So I'm hoping Spaceboy and I will get a chance to talk to her, and I've got some time to research who she is and what she does. Tell them about the violin lady.
Well, apparently this lady that we hope to talk to is, her name's Grace, and she 3D prints violins. And let me tell you, it's more than just the 3D printing part of it. She prints these things out, and it has, I guess, lights inside the violin,
LEDs,
which helps you, I guess, train you. Kind of like if you've seen those pianos that have the light up lights on the piano, and you just follow along and put your fingers on it. Well, it has the same principle. As far as the teaching of playing the violin. So I think it's kind of great. I mean, I've seen some of these 3D printed violins with the lights in them, but not used in the sense of using it as a teaching aid. And I think that's just awesome. So I'm kind of looking forward to talking to her. And because when I trained to play violin, I used the Suzuki method. And what that does is they give you kind of a faux type instrument. It looks like a popsicle is what it looks like, and it teaches you how to hold it under your chin and then put your hands to get you comfortable and into that position to learn to play.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was quite I learned pretty quickly off of it.
Quite hypnotic.
Yeah, it was quite hypnotic. So I'm looking forward to talking to her and her
That's
techniques and creating.
Awesome.
And then, of course, her teaching methods and how, that goes,
You'll be able to speak with her easily on her level.
Music to music. Music to music.
And I'm looking forward to meeting new makers and new vendors and running into some old friends that we met at Comic Palooza. I believe Exitus VR will be there. They tweeted us that they're looking forward to seeing us again. They're cool guys. Maybe we can have a little one-on-one video chat with them about VR technology and what they think about
I'm really looking forward to producing more video this time around. And, I'm excited about that.
Looking forward to remembering to take the little box, detach the little box underneath underneath the camera so I can pick up sound.
Well, I'm going to plug that. I have some technical things that I can do to fix that situation so it doesn't happen again next time. So, but yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be this coming Saturday. So what does that mean for you?
Saturday and Sunday.
The listener for the SBU. Well, next week it'll be a best of show that I'm going to repackage. And I'm looking through the archives, and I think we're probably going to do a best of Daryl Sims when he came on, and the Alien Hunter. So look forward to that next Saturday while we, put together and.
Are we not going to broadcast during the day at Maker Faire?
Probably not. I want to package all this together, and I'd rather pre-recorded.
Okay.
So this will be something for next weekend, and. We'll probably be there in the chat room when the show is on. So, just tune in then and, we'll.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. But we'll, enjoy the show of Daryl Sims. But when we come back in 2 weeks, we'll have Maker Faire coverage and, we'll go over everything that happened.
The 28th will be October 28th. We come back. We'll do a recap. But that's also 2 days from our wedding anniversary, so we can always talk about Spaceboy and Surlana origin story if you're interested, or if you've never heard it, or you want to, or you can just call in and, we can talk about creepy stuff.
Well, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, next week, okay, he's already I guess he heard that other show.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week will be, this next Saturday will be a replay of Daryl's, think of it as the best of Spaceboy Universe.
Yeah, it's just a replay.
Daryl Sims. And then, of course, the following week is, our so many year anniversary. And we'll just go.
Our wedding anniversary, not the show anniversary.
Yeah,
We've already had that.
We already had that, so.
The anniversary no one really cares about.
Mm-hmm. So Surlana, you know that tasty treat. You don't eat this, but that
the
nut,
one I made earlier, or something else.
The nuts that Okay, first off, in the South, there's a certain way to pronounce this particular nut, and when it's in a pie.
Why are you even bringing this up? It's lame.
Because it's on my Facebook wall, and it's banter. And how do you say it?
Pecan.
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 Pecan?
Like Picard. Pecan.
Pecan? Is that like quack?
I don't say the word pecan much because I don't care for them and I don't need to say the word that much.
What do you call Sandies?
Sandies.
No, what's the cookie called?
Pecan Sandies.
You call them Pecan Sandies?
I don't, because I don't refer to them because I don't eat them because I don't care for them.
Pecan Sandies. Pecan. It's Pecan Sandies and pecan pie.
Are you having a stroke?
I might be. Is my eye twitching?
I can't tell.
I know, because you're hiding over there behind your monitor. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up. Southerners, and because there's a certain listener on our pauk-radio-network host, prefers to call them pecan. I just don't like saying pecan.
It's just another way to say it.
It's
I'm
like,
not thrilled with it.
Maybe it's like R. Kelly.
Potato.
I think R. Kelly says it that way.
What?
Yeah, pecan. So...
Please tell me you did not go through all that to make that lame.
Look, it's all part of the journey when we're flying through space here.
Painful journey.
Oh, well, hey, I got a compliment the other day when we went to Jack in the Box.
Oh, God, that was hysterical.
So there we were. We're walking out, dumping our trash out. And as I'm about to hit the door, this guy says, "Hey, I like your sideburns."
Bald guy.
Yeah, bald guy. Is like, "Hey, I can relate to you, too. Just look here." I turned around and showed him my little spot on the back.
You're like, he didn't get shanked.
Yeah, so, out of nowhere, I got a compliment. I guess, and what's funny is I just started doing the hairspray thing, so because my hair is getting to a certain length and it's getting kind of uncontrollable, and so I felt like I was having a good hair day, and so when he said that, it was like, cool, so yeah.
I could not stop laughing. I got to laugh for a solid 5 minutes afterward when we left. And
well, I like my sideburns.
I don't have a problem. I didn't realize your sideburns were unusual.
Well, it's been a while since
to other people.
It's been a while since the 70s. I have that 70s.
Well, even when I met
vibe.
you, it didn't register.
I don't think my sideburns were that long when you met me.
I have a photo. I have to go back and
You'll
look.
have to check, but yeah.
I don't know. I never saw them like, oh, there's just your sideburns, and that's how you do it. It never occurred to me no other man on earth probably does that, unless they're a biker or Amish or,
Or Jackson Galaxy, so... But anyway, so there's my sideburn story, and I was, like, hey, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I like Elvis.
His head's going to explode.
Well, I think it came close, so... But anyway...
But that would ruin your sideburns.
Anyway, so you're listening to SBU on the SBU Network and PAUK Radio Network, so don't touch that dial. All right. You're listening to the station that we love to call SBU. That's SBU, that's Spaceboy Universe, on the Spaceboy, what did I call it again? SBU Network.
Your own network?
And pauk-radio network. You know, I'm trying to juggle two networks at the same time, Surlana. Sometimes, I get a little dyslexic with my lingo.
The SBU Network and the Paranormal UK Radio Network.
Yes, you got to get those plugs in. It's important so people know where they're listening to.
I'll do it.
So, we've had many conversations about dreams, Surlana.
Yeah.
And of course, last week, you roll the dice and let the audience out there pick our next topic. And so I hope that they are up for an evening of interesting listening tonight.
Well, no, because I don't think I've found out anything that we don't already know.
Well, let's give them the
But
411.
I've figured out a way to make this slightly more interesting and definitely more entertaining if you'll indulge me.
Well, at the end of the day, SBU is an entertaining program for the masses.
And I found a document I typed up in 2004 before I moved to Texas, way before I ever knew Spaceboy existed, before I ever met any of you in chat, long ago.
Before you even considered getting behind a mic or being faked out behind a mic.
Well, I didn't even think I would be married, go on a date, nothing. So,
well, the ultimate question here tonight is, as we start, is, Surlana, what are dreams about? Why do we dream?
Well, I kind of knew this and I kind of didn't. So when we dream at night, we go into deep REM. We dream. It's really a form of memory processing. We dream to put together our long-term and short-term memory to process that. We reflect on our experiences. It's a way to work through difficult thoughts and emotions and experiences. And it'll help us achieve some kind of psychological, emotional balance.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reinforces to me that the human body is amazing. And it does try to heal and fix itself. Sometimes, you've got an issue where it can't do it because of a problem you're having, but it really tries to work things out for you, even when you're not awake. I think that's amazing. So we may dream because we're trying to process, repair, reconcile, and store memories. It's like a computer that does all its number crunching at night, when you're gone. So,
in other words, when it takes its updates and puts patches on the programs that need fixing and stuff like that.
It could be something like that. So now, some dreams are very easy to figure out, especially if they're reoccurring. And for me, you'll notice that you have some themes that keep coming up for years and years and years. For me, it's the dream where I'm looking for an acceptable restroom that's in a public place, and I can never find one in the right condition, or, there's something wrong that I can't go. But all that really means is wake up and go to the bathroom in real life. So, do all humans dream? And the answer is yes. Men, women, and babies. Even people who say, I've never dreamed because I can never remember anything, so I don't think I ever dream. Well, they do dream. You're just not remembering a daggum thing.
Like there's no connection between your conscious
and there's a reason you forget. So in a typical human lifespan, humans can spend up to 6 years dreaming. So you do forget a lot of your dreams shortly after waking up. So you want to go, why is this? So this might be why people say they don't dream. One theory says that the changes in our brain that happen while we're asleep do not support the amount of information processing and storage needed for this. So I think of it like you've got a hard drive that doesn't have enough space to hold on to that memory, so it just wipes it as soon as you wake up. I seem to be an exception to this rule because sometimes, I do forget a dream or a large portion of it, but more often than not, I remember it fairly vividly because it was just so intense or it was just so incredibly stupid. I just remember it. I'm like, well, I can't wait to tell somebody this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this absolutely fascinates me. And if we're going to have people call in tonight if you'd like to, using the old 713-701-5214 Skype number. Do you dream in color? Or are you part of the small percentage of the population that can dream only in black and white?
Well, before we go further, let me answer that. I've had a unique dream. I'm going to interject my dream.
Oh,
one
please
of my
do.
dreams, where I was on, it was the okay, imagine you will, hills and stuff like that in the Swiss Alps, right? And it was all black and white. And as I started walking up this hill to the top, there was this kind of like a line, you will, and across the line, everything was in color. And,
that's dang cool.
And so I'm experiencing this dream in black and white, and on the other side is color. And as I turn to the right, I see a little sign, like if it was something out of a cartoon, that says, this part of the line is filmed in Technicolor. And so once I crossed that line, I became in color.
So cool. It's like Wizard of Oz almost.
Pretty much. And so that was a dream I had. That's all I can remember, is just crossing that line into color and then waking up.
To me, that signifies you're just a highly creative individual that you can do that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really neat.
And be prepared for us to pepper the rest of our broadcast tonight with just different dreams that we've had.
Well, the reason I'm going to do that is because I found this dream journal, and it will pad out the program because, like I said, so much went on this week that I couldn't really get good, meaty stuff into my research. And then the stuff with our cat happened, and I didn't really care about anything else. So I'm going to fill out, when we get to the meanings of dreams, I'm going to do a demonstration for you about how when you go to one of these dream dictionaries and you find out, oh, well, I dreamed about this. What does dreaming about this mean? And it'll give you this really stupid generic thing. Then I'm going to tell you what it really means to me for my dream because I know the meanings of it. So when I get there. So men and women dream differently. Men report more instances of dreaming about aggression than women dream of.
Well, I don't know about that. Some of the dreams you told me about,
pretty aggressive in my world. I seem to be an exception to many of these dream rules, and I'll give you examples why in a minute. So, women have longer dreams that feature more characters. Men dream about other men twice as often as they dream about women, and women dream about both sexes equally.
I don't know.
How do I know that? But
first
just studies.
Off, I think I have a nice blend of different things, and
I have dreams I'm not even in.
Mm-hmm, where
I'm not even in the dream.
You're like the watcher.
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
watching
movie?
it.
I don't recall ever having many dreams like that where I'm watching things. I'm always involved in my dreams.
Oh, ha ha, Gene. I wondered if it would be the first to make some kind of
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Joke. Yeah.
But thunder only happens when it's raining. Mm. Now, we don't know for sure if animals dream, but we know they go through the same sleep cycles of REM and NREM sleep. And we've all seen cats and dogs twitching while they sleep, so I think there's something going on. Yeah, dream on, Gene. Now, they did a 40-year project where they collected 50,000 dream accounts from college students. And the most common experienced emotion in these dreams was anxiety and other negative emotions. So there's a lot of anxious, terrifying stuff happening in dreams, especially for these kids. But that's at your time of life when things are very, unsure. So blind people dream, and it's just as vivid for them as it is for sighted people.
Okay.
That I didn't know.
I guess the question I have about someone who's blind, I guess if they've never seen before, what do they dream?
That's really interesting. I
can imagine if somebody, who went blind at some point in their life, they would have visions of some kind to, guide them in their dream world. But someone who's never seen before, what do they dream? How do they dream? I mean, what do they...
like I said, if things hadn't gone down the way they were, I might have found that out.
Just tossing one out there. We've got a bunch of smart people in our chat room that...
I could go back and find out later.
Could probably postulate and theorize what they could be dreaming about.
So there are common theme dreams all humans have, such as... being chased, attacked, falling, feeling frozen, arriving late, flying, being naked in public. So this is, again, back to why we dream. Studies have shown the importance of dreams to our health and well-being. Now, there was another study where researchers woke subjects just as they were drifting off into REM sleep. They found that those who were not allowed to dream experienced increased tension, anxiety, depression, difficulty concentrating, lack of coordination, weight gain, and tendency to hallucinate. So we need to dream to be healthy, or at least go into REM. Maybe we don't have to dream, but we need to be in REM. Now, I was going to mention, and you could probably remember more about this, Spaceboy.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
Eyes in the dark, one moon circles. What am I referencing?
Man, you're really throwing me for a loop here.
Deanna.
Oh, you mean from Star Trek?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you recall the episode where this is Star Trek: The Next Generation,
where she was communicating with aliens from another?
They go to this space, and all of a sudden, no people can sleep, but they can't enter into REM. They cannot reach REM, and the only person who can get to REM is Deanna. But all she has is nightmares. Although we get to see her dreams, you're like, that's just slightly annoying. That's not a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
She kept dreaming about this floating through space. A voice was telling her, eyes in the dark, one moon circles. And they came up on this other ship where people had gone crazy and they killed each other because they couldn't get sleep, and they become paranoid and they became violent because they couldn't get to REM. And they also had a betazoid on there. Well, Deanna's half betazoid.
Right.
And he went crazy and went into a sort of a waking coma. And he was like a vegetable. Mm-hmm. So it started happening to the crew of the Enterprise. Nobody could sleep or they could go to sleep, but they couldn't get REM, rapid eye movement. And they were deteriorating. And it got to the point, the only person that could, I lose that term loosely, pull things together, run the ship, and save them was Data, the android, who doesn't need sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an example of, I suppose, what could happen if you never enter into REM.
Well, there's been people who have tried to go without sleep, but of course, I know in the early days, back when I was first putting Spaceboy together, I would spend like several days with no sleep whatsoever on the internet, and just putting together websites, writing music, and then after like maybe I guess over 24 hours of nonstop, close to 48 hours.
Really,
it got to a point where I just had to lay down, and then I passed out and slept for about 16 hours, and then I was up at it and doing it again. So, at some point I imagine that, the dreams are just a way to facilitate the healing process of. Well,
excuse me. Freud thought, this is good old Freud, Sigmund Freud. He thought dreams were just a way for our unconscious mind to tell us of the wishes we wanted fulfilled. Well, that's stupid, and it took people for many years to poke holes in that. They didn't call him on the carpet for that. Who wants to get stabbed by King Kong? You could dream about that. Is that an unconscious wish? You want to fall off a building and die. You want to die in a nuclear explosion. How can that be an unconscious wish? Maybe you're suicidal, I don't know. But so just another instance of Freud is full of crap.
Well, I mean, I've never take a step back. You talk about wanting to explode. Maybe you're suffering from some kind of pain, and that explosion in your mind, I guess it's once the explosion happens, there's a release, if you will.
Speaking of release, hold on a second.
Okay.
Wait a second, I gotta find it. Crap.
Well, this is a live show when it's played out.
No, I know. I gotta find it. Oh God.
But anyway, I kind of like say I could see the other side of the coin. Why I know you're saying that you're calling BS on what Freud is saying.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess dreams are just open for interpretation, and
we're about to get into that.
Awesome.
Briefly, I'll start with one. You said a release and explosion. Well, speaking of a release and explosion, this is a brief one. Let me read you this real quick.
Okay.
Remember, this is early, mid-2004, way before I moved to Texas. Didn't know Spaceboy, so my dreams are kind of limited.
Or is it called pre-Spaceboy?
The pre-Jim
Space
times.
Boy.
Okay. I dreamed I was shopping by myself in a mall, and I was feeling terrible. I felt this pressure building inside me. I felt like I could not walk another step. I was right out in the middle of the main area of the mall. I was about to sit down when suddenly I felt this intense pressure and rumbling building in my gut. The next thing I know, I am letting out the sonic boom of all burps right there in the middle of the mall. Well, that whole section of the mall, the building where I'm standing, begins to tremble with my prolonged guttural noise. Plaster is raining from the ceiling. People are screaming and running in terror, believing it to really be an earthquake. And I think that I was doing this for like 5 minutes. But boy, did I feel so much better when I was done. And that's all I wrote.
Okay. So
now,
did you end up getting up, like having to have that restroom thing, or
don't know? So if I look up being in a mall, and the reason I want to look up that is over the last 6 to 8 months, I have had dreams about being in a mall, usually by myself. And it's usually a mall that's like an amalgam of the two malls I used to go to when I was a kid, or it's something my brain just made up out of the blue that's along the lines of the Galleria. It's big, multi-storied. But this is how. Okay, I'm on a dream deck. I'm on dreambible.com. Typed in the word mall. The Dream Bible says, to dream of a mall represents your search for acceptable roles, choices, beliefs, and ideas. Being in a mall symbolizes decisions or preferences that you make who you are. A mall represents social settings, social development, where you are in your life. You're exploring options or decisions about what you want or who you are, what you become. Dream of a mall can show up when you are deciding who you want to date, making changes to your lifestyle, or experiencing changes in your personality. A mall can symbolize states of mind with themes that are symbolic based on your feelings or perceptions of those stores. For example, a store such as The Gap could symbolize a more proper or conservative lifestyle choice, whereas a more urban clothing store may symbolize more desires or personality choice. Salespeople in a mall represents aspects of your personality that are attempting to convince you of a choice, belief, or idea. Well, for me, that's all bullcrap. There's 2 reasons I've noticed I've dreamed about malls. One, I'm looking for funnel cake. I just want some flipping funnel cake in real life. 2, I'm in the store and I'm window shopping and I wished I had money to just shop and buy what I wanted. So all that generic stuff I just read you has no meaning to me.
Well, let's take it a step back, because I've known you for some time now, Surlana.
I would hope so. How long we've been married?
Well, very long time. But anyway, you've had a dream quite often dealing with the mall that's from your youth that you used to live by.
Yeah,
and you
in front of.
And you seem to be stuck in this loop of a dream.
I had a long time. You have to understand, when we moved into that townhome in front of the mall, I could literally walk out the little back gate of the townhome, walk past the car, and right into the mall parking lot. There was nothing separating it. And I still dream about that place, and the reason I do is because we moved in when I was 12, and we moved out when I was 28. That's a huge chunk of my life in one dwelling.
Right.
And my gosh, the stories I could tell you. Not you over there, but you listening.
Or listening audience. I was going to throw this one in. Not too long ago, I had a dream about losing my watch, and not, as you know me well, I really need a timepiece. I feel naked without a timepiece of some kind to tell me the passage of time. And so
You're obsessed with time.
Yeah. So
You feel
according
lost
to
without it.
the Dream Dictionary, to see a broken watch in your dream indicates that you're unsure of your own feelings or how to express yourself. Well, I know it's not that.
No,
I think
see?
I'm very, but it goes on. It says you are experiencing an emotional standstill. Now, alternatively, a watch suggests that you have poor time management. You have lost track of what you have to do. So, at the end of the day, I really think that why I had the dream was that I was like, okay, I got to get up soon. And in my dream, I'm looking for my watch on my wrist to tell me in the dream
If you're
world
late or not.
what time is it. When reality, I've got the watch on me. And so it could be much in the sense of I'm looking for a time and I'm looking in the wrong place for the time. So it could be as simple as that. Where it stands as far as do I believe that if I've lost a watch, it's poor time management? Would you believe that I have poor time management?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good answer.
Because you're anal.
Anyway, so yeah, please continue, Surlana.
Well, let me do another quickie because
Sure.
I know the time is like down. Let me type this in. Now, we've all had those dreams, right? Where we dream that our teeth are crumbling and you're spitting them out.
Yeah.
Well, I used to have those and for a long time, and then suddenly they just stopped, and I've never had them again. So I'm thinking something in my life changed. Maybe that did mean something. I don't recall what it was, but something in my life changed where whatever was going on in my brain that was causing that was no longer there, and it didn't. So I don't have to dream about it anymore. But what I did was I moved from teeth to. I used to dream about I was chewing a big wad of gum. You remember? Is it Hubba Bubble or Double Bubble?
Hubba Bubble.
Hubba Bubble or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big chunk of bubble gum, individually wrapped, like a square. And that was like, when you're younger, that's big in your mouth, you know. It's
And then full of sugar.
yeah. So I had this big wad of gum in my mouth, and I was enjoying it, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. And I would go to spit it out in a garbage can. And I see it going into the garbage can. And as soon as I stand up, another one reforms in my mouth, and now I'm spitting out these constant large wads of gum that I can't. It's like endless, and it won't stop. But after a while, I quit dreaming about that too. So here's one more tooth-related dream, and it's real quick, that I wrote down in my old pre-Spaceboy, pre-Texas dream journal from early 2004. Okay, I think we've all had that dream where our teeth crumble out or are just not there anymore. I am usually spitting out tooth after tooth, much more than I have ever had in my head. But that has given way to sometime recurring the bubblegum wad where I spit that out. Okay, that's not the one I'm trying to find. Sorry. The one I'm trying to find is where I was typing. Let me just scroll up. This is not very big. The alligators. Okay. Maybe it's in the other one. Where's the other one?
Yeah.
Dinner with David Bowie, party at TJ Maxx. Nope, that's not it.
Oh, fascinating.
Well, I didn't highlight it because this thing is acting crazy.
Well, I tell you what, Surlana, let me just express, I've had many dreams of extraterrestrials. And in that dream, the dream journal is saying to dream of an extraterrestrial being represents your far-fetched ideas and wild imagination. Your mind does not know any limits. Alternatively, the dream represents your desire to escape from your daily life. And speaking of escaping, let's escape to our next musical break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back after this. SBU Network and pauk-radio network.
Nice.
We're back. So, Surlana, we pick
Moving
it back
into
up.
the next area,
Yes.
we're going to talk about hitting our mic.
Yes, sorry.
We're going to talk about lucid dreaming. Now, lucid dreaming, this is where you're in a dream, but you're fully aware that you're dreaming, that you're in the dream. Now, I've done this a few times, but it's not to the point where I'll be in a dream and I'll sit there and go, this is so stupid. This can't be real. This is a dream. But I don't know how to take advantage of it in dream. I know I'm in a dream, but there's nothing, I'm still passive. I can't actively change things. So I have the attitude in a dream, this is a dream, I'll just stick with it because I know I'll wake up eventually. That's as far as I can get with it. So they say in order to facilitate the process of lucid dreaming, you can get into the habit of examining your environment or the state of your awareness during the day. So have these mental habits where you practice during the day that you tend to do to continue your dreams. Examine your environment during the day, examine your awareness. Then you may notice something is different once you start dreaming. Someone who has become lucid has much higher levels of awareness. Obviously, that's an advantage to lucid dreaming. Now, I don't know if lucid dreaming is like the movie Inception, where you're actively changing things because it's to your advantage.
By the way, good movie.
I only got halfway through it. I got interrupted, so I didn't finish it, but I'll finish it.
Yeah, it's like the dream within a dream within a dream.
So studies suggest that majority of people have had a lucid dream at some point in their life, but it's not very common. So I actually found a helpful guide on how to get lucid dreams going. So one thing you can do that I did for fun, as I'm referencing tonight, is keep a dream journal or a recording device next to your bed or wherever you sleep, in a hammock or in a tree. Get all your impressions, emotions, and sensations written down or recorded right when you wake up. This is going to train you to remember more, because that's the main problem with dreaming, is not remembering enough. So you've got to start remembering more to help you do lucid dreaming.
Kind of sounds like a friend of ours that we know.
Yeah. So have you checked the mail? So as soon as you wake up, stay still for a few minutes right after you wake up and concentrate, and then start recording. Do a reality check every few hours during your day. Like if you go to work, every few hours say, hey, am I dreaming? This will get you into the habit or practice of questioning reality enough. You'll keep doing it in your sleep, in your dream. So check your reality to do the following. Pinch your nose and open your mouth. See if you can still breathe. Look at your hands and feet. Are they distorted? Because they usually are in dreams. Read a page of text, the time on a clock. Look away, then look back. Because in dreams, it'll end up being blurry or nonsensical each time you look away and look back at the text or the clock. Then take your index finger and try to push it through your opposite palm and really expect it to work while asking yourself, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Right before and during you trying to do it. Repeat, I will be aware that I'm dreaming each time you fall asleep. This is known as mnemonic induction to lucid dreaming, or MILD. This is a memory aid to get you in the habit of being aware that you're dreaming. Learn to recognize personal dream signs, and this sounds more like things that Patrick talks about. You know, he has a Dreamweaver.
And that's Patrick Spohr.
Patrick Spohr, we always talk to. This is where I kind of expect him to call in. So you recognize your own personal dream signs. This is where if you start reviewing your journal and your recordings from your recurring dreams, you'll start notice that things may start repeating each time you dream. Same situations, same locations, same events. You're going to start understanding you're in a dream when you recognize in the dream you've got this personal symbol. Do you keep returning to high school? Keep losing your teeth? Keep ending up naked at the bank? Start writing it down, and you'll start knowing in the dream you're in a dream. So if you wake up from a dream, try to get right back to sleep. When you wake up, remember, write it down, try to close your eyes and focus on the dream you just had. Yes, Spaceboy, I see all those typos in my notes. Imagine you're in that dream and notice your dream signs or symbols and hold on to that image, because that's going to really trigger. Purchase a light alarm instead of using a sound alarm, and set the light alarm 4, 5, 6, or 7 hours after you fall asleep, or set it to go off every hour. See, light cues are more effective during REM sleep. Try meditation, or use the awake back to bed method. And what that is, I didn't bother to type it all out, but let me get down there and I'll tell you what this is about. So the awake back to bed method is, There's another thing you can try is the Spaceboy, maybe you can understand. Listen to binaural beats.
Yes. I actually do that quite often. And, you bring up meditation. I do that as well. And I think that's why I remember a lot of my dreams, is because I'm so in tune with music and just certain repetitive noises, like the binary beats, and that's always pretty effective.
Well, binaural beats, just to explain it, this website says, WikiHow, if you send a different sound frequency to each ear, your brain will interpret the two sound waves overlapping pattern as an audio beat, even though no beat is included in the sound. So your brain is, I guess, filling in that for you. This definitely changes the brain's electrical activity, but so far scientists are unsure whether this can actually stimulate lucid dreaming, but they're saying it's something you could try to see if it does. Now, there are sites out there that have collections of binaural beats, it's binaural, it's not binaural, right? So it's easy to try if you could sleep with earbuds in. So they say most lucid dreamers use beats that mimic theta brain waves. Now, theta brain waves occur during REM sleep, so that may help trigger it. But some say gamma or alpha beats instead are what works. So you may have to go through several.
Well, the fascinating thing about the noises is that some are very relaxing, but then there are others that really put me in a state of paranoia, if you will. It's really kind of bizarre how that all works out. So
another thing, strangely enough, this sounds like it wouldn't help, play video games. They say gamers report higher rates of lucid dreaming than just the general public. So they don't know why. They said they'd have to do some studies, but it's possible a couple of hours gaming during the week can increase your chances of a lucid dream. And the type of game you play does not matter. So I thought that was you can take the occasional vitamin B supplement, B5, B6, can increase dream vividness, weirdness, or emotional intensity. I don't need any of that. I get that without anything. So, prolong a lucid dream. If you're having one, how to prolong it. So, lucid dreamers wake up due to the excitement of having a lucid dream sometimes. So, you'll get some kind of warning of this in the dream when it starts to feel unstable, or you begin to notice sensations from the real world. I have done that where something's happening out in the real world and it starts to affect what I'm dreaming about till eventually it wakes me up. So they're saying, keep yourself in a lucid dream. Spin your dream body around or fall backwards. Some people say that helps. No one knows why. So if you're in the dream, rub your hands together. Continue doing whatever you're doing in the dream before it became unstable, and asserting that you're still in the dream. That's much less effective than the other one. So you might want to try that. So those are some ways to get it going, keep it going. Of course, meditation. Try concentration techniques. So try to catch the dream. If your mind wanders while trying to catch the dream, or you don't remember the dream at all, instead of focusing on try focusing on the movement of your fingers. Use a pattern of small movements such as index finger up, middle finger down, middle finger up, index finger down. Flip off your partner in bed. I don't know. So these are some ways to get it going and keep it. Now they're saying wake up in the middle of the night. Set one alarm to go off, 5, 4, 6, or 7 hours. And you wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. I think that sounds irritating to me. So, and the light alarm means that you don't actually wake yourself up with a light. You just kind of keep it close to your bed. It's supposed to help induce, this lucid dreaming. So that's, and the reality checks I think are pretty funny. Like you're at work day. Am I in a dream? Am I in a dream?
Sometimes I think we feel like we're in a dream when we're at work, so.
I wish it was a dream. Now, I found something during that research, I was putting in lucid dreaming. Mm-hmm. So I found something on the internet on a webpage called luciddreamer.com. It is a small box with electrodes attached to it that says, you control it from an app on your phone, and it will help you get into a lucid dream. So I don't know if that's verified, but they say there are a lot of benefits to lucid dreams. You get to control it. You get to feel all the emotions as if they're real, but that also means the downside is if you're feeling in the dream depression, sadness, you get to feel that like it's really happening to you. So I don't know if that's something you can deal with or you can welcome. It's just... But let's get back to the meaning of dreams. And I will pick up where I got cut off before the last break. I was going to tell you this briefly. Okay, this is from my old dream journal, pre-Texas, pre-Spaceboy from 2004. Okay, so at that point in my life, I was used to having disturbing dental dreams. The usual teeth crumbling to powder, the endless spitting out of teeth, like more teeth than you have in your head, etc. But this dream, this particular one, was so far beyond that I had to kind of just jot it down. So I dreamed I was typing away at my computer keyboard. I paused to move the mouse, and when I glanced back down at the keyboard, I noticed a projected image of a skull and crossbones right across the center of the keys. This image grew larger and larger, and then it faded away. Next thing I see is that the first row of keys, like, I don't know if this is 1 through whatever, or Q through P, that row had turned into nasty brown stained teeth. Then the row below that, A through L, was even bigger, nastier teeth. And then Z through the question mark was all jagged and busted up teeth. Maybe that's why I don't type right anymore. So, if I go to the dreambible.com and I look at the generic explanations, it says teeth. To dream of teeth represents your vitality and self-confidence. Now, I'm going to go ahead and buy that because I'm missing a tooth at the front. It's visible. So, not that I'll go around smiling and laughing with my mouth open, but I'm very much try to keep that to a minimum. So, it's a reflection of how good you feel about your physical appearance. Okay, I'm buying that. Talents or anything that gives you status or power. To dream of teeth falling out represents a loss of power or confidence or self-esteem in some area of your life. I think that's a pretty good. It's not, for being too generic. It says dreams of teeth falling out are common to people aging or feel like they're losing their looks. Well, I've been dreaming about this since my 20s, so it's also common for people who are losing their memory, a career, or status of some kind. Thank God I don't dream about this anymore. To dream of a gap in your front teeth represents insecurities about not being as good as you'd like to be. Well, I have an actual gap, so there you go. I'm actually not as good as it could be. You have many flaws that you're always thinking about or constantly wish you could improve. Okay, that's dead on for me. A gap in the teeth of another person may represent your view of another person's situation fails to meet your standards, or it could be you're dreaming about relatives. Dream of animals with sharp teeth is feelings of anger, feeling furious, someone's biting anger. Dream of being toothless, which I've had that too, completely toothless. Loss of confidence and power, status, vitality, bad news, misfortune, or ill health are getting in the way. Brushing your teeth is reinforcing your confidence, your strengths, preparation, practice, or maintenance to keep you confident. Dreaming about brushing your teeth negatively may reflect anxiety about looking like a loser to other people, an excessive need to reassure yourself, excessive need to maintain your appearance, and broken teeth represents feelings of having an obvious problem that needs to be addressed. Your confidence has been broken. You need to restore your confidence, regain your confidence.
But once again, as you go down that list and you compare yourself to that list, I hear a lot of negative things. And once again, it's...
Well, how can losing your teeth, spitting out teeth, or having broken teeth be positive?
Well, I mean...
Do tell.
I just think it's once again, is who's to say in a dream world that is a negative thing? I mean, that's, it comes really back to our subconscious working our...
Well, you want to sue the people that run this site?
Well, it's kind of like, who's to say you're the boss, man? But what I'm saying is that, the interpretation is really, you may look at, I may have the same dream, and it'd be the interpretation as I am seeing it is much different. Maybe, for example, maybe I'm having a tooth problem in real life. Well,
that's very valid.
And then the ideal situation is to remove that tooth, or for the tooth to fall out, might be a sign of welcome relief, because that tooth is no longer there. So to me, that represents a release from pain. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. So you see how I interpret that. You may look at it as, okay, I've lost a tooth, so I guess I'm turning into some hillbilly. And
I am a hillbilly.
And so
I am the toothless hillbilly.
And so you look at it as a kind of a negative, in a negative way. So,
all right, you're entitled to your opinion.
No,
That's cool.
We're having a conversation here. No.
Well, they say
put your switchblade away.
They say the formation of dream content is non-random. We are biologically predisposed to dreaming certain themes, but not the others. This was discovered through studies and surveys. That's how they know. Here's a quote for you. Perhaps even more strikingly, there is evidence that we share similar dream themes with people in ancient times, such as flying and falling, that the recorded Chinese history of dreaming, these typical themes can be traced as far back as 2 millennia ago. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. That
we've been having certain themes, all humanity, going back to millennia. And over.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a general consensus, if you will, of things that we all have in common over time. I mean, falling, just separation. I mean, just throwing some things out there in general that would be common as far as dreaming, because we're all human. What?
K28.
Okay.
What if I dream of a gap in your teeth has a clothing store inside? Clothing store.
Anyway.
Anyway, dream retrieval by means of REM awakening at the sleep laboratory is far more stable and systematic in comparison than other methods. So they did these samples of dreams that was really interesting. Now, I was telling you before, Sigmund Freud said dreams are the road to the unconscious, and that every dream is a wish fulfillment. And it's bullcrap. So, dream meaning, as I've tried to point out to you all, is very personal. Mm-hmm. We've been looking at a dream dictionary tonight, but a lot of that's been very generic. But sometimes it has hit the nail around the head, like the teeth.
Isn't that a lot like psychics? They
I ain't touching that one.
Keep it plain, generic, and
ain't touching that one.
Generic fills the void. For
I know nothing.
Pseudo psychics. I'm not saying
possible. I wouldn't know.
What I know, but you understand what I'm saying. In the comparison, is that some psychics make some generic claims. And there was
talking about like palm reader things.
Well. There was a psychic on television that I'm going to just say it was on Montel Williams, and you can draw your own conclusions on who that was.
Okay.
And it came down to where she made these generic claims about certain things on people, and come to find out she was a false psychic, if you could call it that. And so, that was a fine example of keep it generic and people will believe you.
I like this comedian. He's an Irish comedian called Dara O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
You look him up on YouTube. He talked about seeing some psychic on a show, just like what you mentioned. What he had to say about it was pretty funny. I encourage you to go look him up. But it's very personal, I think, dream meaning. So if we can understand how dreams are related to brain function while we are unconscious, we might be able to explain why we dream. Then we can figure out what it means psychologically. But there's no way each person can conform to a standard set of meanings, since we're all made up of individual experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you'd like to know what some of the common themes are and they mean according to dream dictionaries, let me run that down for you real quick. Flying in your dreams, your sense of power over yourself or situation. Babies, your desire to produce offspring, or it represents your own vulnerability or the need to feel love or a new start. Now again, those meanings have no meaning to me. I know for a fact when a baby appears in my dream, it's dumped on me suddenly, or I find it on a doorstep. Because to me, babies in my dreams symbolize frantic anxiety, the need to find a mother or somebody to take this baby because I don't want the responsibility. So some of these, I know exactly what these mean, and they don't conform to these generic meanings. Okay, falling. These are, if you fall in a dream, these are anxieties you have about letting go, losing control, or failing after a success you've had. Hair. Hair ties in with sexuality, according to Freud. Dreaming about hair may symbolize virility. Cutting it can mean loss of libido or literal fear of going bald.
That's like Samson. But
Yeah.
Of course, some of us who I miss my hair, and never mind. But yeah, I miss some of my hair.
Some of your hair. Now again, hair has a different meaning for me, because for my entire life, I had a certain length of hair until I was about 25.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hair that touched my shoulders and went just below my shoulder length. And then I just couldn't take it anymore because I couldn't do anything. It's thin, it's lifeless, it's like baby fine. It won't. I had to have perms every year of my life to give it body. So I had it radically cut short, like just barely over my ears. So sometimes I will have dreams where I can control the length of my hair. I can dream it long, I can dream it short. I think that's just my mind being creative, or it's my mind that's confused because it knew once upon a time I had long hair. No, I don't. It's like it doesn't know which one to pick. It's like a Barbie or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So nudity, dreaming about being nude. You're worried about exposing your vulnerability. I don't know if that's a euphemism for, vulnerability, as I'm pointing down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vulnerability to others, or it's more you're showing off trying to get noticed. For me, when I end up naked in a dream and I'm in a normal place where other people are, normally clothed, like high school or a bank or the mall, I'm freaked out, but no one else notices it or doesn't care. And it's the total opposite how they would have behaved, especially in high school. Of course, we just covered teeth, the falling out, losing them, fear of getting old, know. So now another site I looked at says, you do not have to interpret your dreams to help you solve your problems, but it can enhance any psychotherapy you may be having. Dreams do not always mean what we think they mean. In my case, that's a huge relief. Also, repetitive dreams, or themes you keep dreaming about over and over and over, can indicate that you're continuing to miss the point about the meaning of that dream, of that theme you're having. And then, as I alluded to before, Freud said dreams are messages from ourselves showing us our secret wishes, which is a load of crap, because they said by the 1950s, scientists began to poke holes in Freud's theory on dreams. Some dreams are just too mundane to be secret wish. Other dreams are too terrifying to be a secret wish. Now, who wants to be hit by a bus, chased by a bear, or bitten by a zombie? Unless you're just into that. So, that's, again, dream meanings there. So, let me see if I can call up something here real fast for you. Some of these dreams probably take a little too long for me to read, but I don't see how much time do we have?
We got about 4 minutes.
Okay, let me do this one. I'm going to type in this animal in the dream Bible. All right. Back to the old dream journal. Okay, I dreamed about oversized, mutated, alien, mind-controlled alligators. We're taking over our planet. Stop it. I'm not going to be able to get through this. I can't look at you. They were intelligent. They could talk. Maybe that's the aliens making them do that. They could stand on their back legs if need be and make lucid and persuasive arguments for why you should allow them to eat you. I have in here as a side note, maybe they were lawyers. All I remember was I was trapped in an abandoned townhouse / condominium type of building. It was way up on a hill. Now, somebody thought these alligators couldn't climb hills, so we kind of went with that idea. I remember being in that townhome, taking refuge there with another family I didn't know, because it was like a, kind of a free-for-all. But I quickly began to dislike this family. I was thinking about finding another place to hide from the gators and then telling them where this family was hiding, because I really didn't like them. Turns out the family was the Brady Bunch. And I was like, oh, that explains it. The only other thing I remember later on was being trapped on top of a chest of drawers and throwing things down at two gators. I was trying to jump from furniture piece to furniture piece to get to a window. Now, they could have just stood up on their legs and got me, but I kind of think that would take the fun out of it for them. Or maybe the aliens were just, controlling them and they weren't doing that. So, let's see really quickly, what does alligators mean to dream? The dream of an alligator represents a situation in your life you feel is dangerous. A feeling that a problem has rocked your sense of balance or safety. You're shaken by something or struggling to contain a problem. An alligator may also reflect a powerful fear you have. A sign that you need to put more effort into confronting your fears or speak to someone about your problems. An alligator may reflect the danger you feel from a job layoff, an argument, or an interpersonal problem. The threat or loss of feeling that a crisis may be at hand. An alligator may reflect your threats of serious consequences to other people if they don't behave or conform, threatening people with God's revenge if they don't be more careful with their immoral behavior, threatening other people with serious warning or serious loss. So if you find yourself eating alligator in a dream, you might be from Louisiana. Now, if it represents overcoming your fear of a dangerous situation, so you've overcome your fear, you've killed the alligator, and you're drinking its blood. I've never dreamed of a blue alligator, but you can, so.
All right, Surlana. Well, like I've always said through our life, each dream you have is quite out there. So
I'm telling you.
So we'll have more when we come back after this break. we are back. You know, Surlana, that was Cosmic Surfer.
Love that song.
Yes, I wrote that for Jill Hansen for her show, The Q Science Project. One of my favorites that I enjoyed making because it's a little bit different than my usual stuff. But speaking of Spaceboy music, you know, you can go to spaceboymusic.com and all the music you hear played here that's on Spaceboy U can be purchased there. Go there. In fact, the latest album, Spaceboy Universe's own Spaceboy, has a new album called Unique Technique. Well, it's not that new, but it's been out for a while. And it has 17 wonderful tracks that you can listen to and download and all that good stuff for an easy $10 US dollars. So go to spaceboymusic.com and get you some. So anyway.
But he is working on new music.
And
Spaceboy
I've been
music.
contracted by Ty, our friendly Canadian, that I need to make some Christmas music too.
You said, I don't know how to do that. And I said, do you have this instrument, and this instrument in your sound banks?
I didn't say that.
Yes, we will be taking calls. Michelle. I'm sorry, I need to go to sleep now.
All right, so Surlana.
Do you want me to put that out now, the number? Or
it's a little early, but...
yeah, we usually do it at 11, after 11. So
after 11, so just hold on, Space Cadets. We'll get to you.
If we run short, I'm going to see if he'll let me read you this 4-paragraph dream. But, okay. I want to talk about nightmares and sleep paralysis real quick.
Okay.
Well, not real quick.
Because I've got a sleep paralysis dream thing.
Me too. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll let you do yours first here in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the first thing I wonder when it comes to the topic of nightmares, I was wondering if the idea of a nightmare is subjective. I've told you a number of the dreams I've had, which to you could sound like a nightmare, but to me it was like, whatever. So I wonder if a nightmare meets a specific criteria, because it seems like to me it's up to your interpretation if that was a nightmare or not. So I've been told my dreams give other people nightmares. But the word nightmare comes from the Middle English nitmar, which not the word for night, and mare is demon. So it's night demon.
Wow.
And a nightmare was thought to be an evil spirit come to haunt people and cause them to suffocate. So that's not the modern meaning, of course. Today the term is used to describe a frightening dream that is also accompanied by a sensation of oppression or helplessness. Traumatic nightmares can also be a part of having post-traumatic stress disorder or syndrome. Okay, now sleep paralysis. I'm going to pull this over here so I can see it. Sleep paralysis. I think we all know this is what this is, but for those who might not, your body, because, okay, when you get to REM, your body is naturally paralyzed during REM sleep. And for a split moment or two, it'll still be immobile while you're waking up. You're fully conscious, but cannot move or speak. And this can last for several minutes. Now, you can feel like you're choking, being crushed, or having visual hallucinations. Now, I kind of don't even want to talk about this, but I've experienced it recently. So I want you to tell me your story before I get into mine.
Well, my story is that I was dreaming, and I started to wake, and I was bridging between my consciousness and my unconsciousness. And, you know,
Sound like a show off.
Well, I'm a weird duck in that sense, you know, so.
But you're my weird duck.
Excuse me for a second. I got a cough again.
I'm going to take a hit of tea.
So anyway, so I'm laying there in bed, and I can kind of have my eyes half open, and I feel like I'm being controlled and paralyzed. And I start to panic, and it's kind of like I'm struggling against the current, if you will. And then all of a sudden, I can feel pressure, like if I was going through a drain, if you will, of colors and everything. And I literally jumped forward out of bed onto the end of the bed, and then
in real life.
In real life,
was
I
anywhere around?
No, I was a teenager.
Oh, okay. This is a long time ago.
And so I mean, it was just the weirdest sensation of just everything kind of rushing back. Like if I had an out of body experience and my body came back into it. But what it is I recall being not able to, my head was off to the side and I could feel like I was being controlled in some way. But I fought through the current and it was just this rush of going from one state to another, and it was just the oddest sensation.
That's pretty freaky.
And it was freaky. And when I got up, I mean, I went from that paralyzed state, if you will, to like full consciousness and being awake and like I can't believe just what happened. It was just such a rush, and I've never forgot that, and I've never experienced it since then.
And you said this was when you were a teenager?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty vivid. Nothing like that's ever happened.
I think I was about 18.
Have you had any kind of sleep paralysis since?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah. It was just that one time when I really felt like it's like I could. The only other time that I could feel like I was in a paralysis was when they had me drugged up for a surgery for my deviated septum, and being like kind of like not able to move, but I could still see. And then once they put the mask on, then I had knocked myself out for the anesthesia. But that's the closest I've ever felt to that sensation. So
I don't like it. I don't have it often, but when I do, oh boy, it's. I don't know what it is about sleep paralysis that always feels otherworldly, supernatural. So this happened to me like within the last 2 weeks. And my first thought was, it was you doing it to me. But I thought about it, and I'm like, you're a musician. You would not do this.
How could I paralyze you?
No. The thing that I wasn't realizing I was quote unquote paralyzed. Mm-hmm. What was happening to me? And I thought about it. I'm like, as a responsible human being and a musician, you wouldn't do this because if you keep yanking on a cord, it's going to mess it up. You know that, So I was laying on my left
side. First off, she's talking about headphones,
earbuds.
In.
So I had fallen asleep listening to probably creepypastas, So I still had an earbud in my right ear, but I'm laying on my left side, so the earbud's exposed on my right ear, and it was still in fully, tight. So I know I was asleep, and I wake up, or I think I'm awake, to the sensation of that earbud in my right ear is being jiggled and tugged. Not enough to pull it out of my ear, but just enough to it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, is he trying to wake me up by yanking on my earbud cord? He wouldn't do that. He's a musician. He knows that's not something you shouldn't do with your headphones. And then I felt this sensation. This is the part I really don't like. I'm on my left side, so I'm facing Spaceboy. My back is to the wall, which has the big window. And now the door is opposite me. It's closer to Spaceboy. But I'm facing him, and it feels like there is some kind of force or something pushing my back, pushing hard, like a pressure to keep me in the bed, not to drag me out. And I'm like, I did not like that. And I just felt like anxiety. And I was like, he's not over there pushing on me, is he? I can't. So I don't know what happened, but it finally just wore off, and I came fully awake, but I was still convinced that he was doing it. So I finally got convinced he wasn't doing it, but I did read that sleep paralysis can be worsened by lack of sleep, certain prescription drugs, certain illegal drugs, and of course sleep apnea, which I know I have, but can't afford to do anything about. Now, you can have this experience when you're falling asleep, not just trying to wake up. I've never had it falling asleep. I experienced it experience it on the waking up side. There's some research out there that's found a relationship between sleep paralysis and anxiety states, which I also have and am on medication for. So when we reach REM, our sleep starts, and our brain stem blocks signals to our spine and to our muscles, so even the most violent actions in your dreams translates to no more than an actual twitch in your body. So I'm thinking, well, that's nice of our brain. So it keeps you from punching your bed partner while you're fighting robots and ninjas.
Sorry, but I have bruises.
So what can you do about sleep paralysis?
Lock a person down on the bed.
So understanding sleep paralysis is understand that it's just a brain glitch rather than a ghost or a demon or an alien. That'll help loud noise, loud like an exploding bomb or a gunshot, right as you start to drift off or begin to wake up. Probably haven't heard of it because it only happens to 1 in 10 people, and it usually doesn't start until around age 50, and nobody knows what causes it. So, as you can see, Spaceboy,
Yeah.
that's where I got interrupted by life in my notes. Since we've got, 15 before we open the lines, may I read this thing, or do you have more to add?
No, go ahead. We had a slight little technical difficulty there. Apparently, we lost a little audio, but we're back on track.
Some people say Beb's out, but if I'm sorry to say this, people, but if you're on a Mac-based computer, we can't help you. But if you're on a PC, reboot. If you're on an app, get out and restart.
You don't necessarily need to reboot. Just maybe refresh your Spreaker feed, and that should be good.
Yeah. Anyway, let me read you. It's only 4 paragraphs, and I would love to know our space cadet's impression of this old dream I had, because it goes from 0 to what? Very quickly. Okay. From the Dream Journal of 2004, pre-Spaceboy year. I dreamed I was trapped in a house in another dimension. I was in this house with friends, family, fairy tale characters, people from the real world show that was on MTV, and Mozart. Yeah, the Mozart. Okay, Cinderella was there, and she was a very violent person in the dream. She kept trying to steal Snow White's prince. And so there were some people there from the real world TV show, nobody specific, just your standard 2 white guys, a black guy, and a dingy white girl. So just the stereotypes. I noticed I had various friends and family there, and they kept coming in and out and going and changing out and disappearing, and they all ignored me completely. Didn't talk to me, nothing. As I said, Mozart was there too, but all he did was run up and down stairs, giggling, in his wig and his tight pants, laughing madly. He didn't seem to serve any purpose. Then it kind of became like some kind of hell house in a horror movie. I saw a cockroach outside the window that was as big as a baby elephant, and it was devouring a person. Most crazy things were happening outside, but after a while they started happening inside the house. Cinderella did something to Snow White, like literally stabbed her and killed her. The real world girl said, "I hope I don't die in some stupid, pointless way." And as soon as she said that, a supermodel appeared. The supermodel attacked the real world girl with a broken glass bottle and wounded her severely. The three real world guys and myself grabbed an antique iron street lamp. I can't do this without laughing. Grabbed an antique iron street lamp to bust open the cellar doors. Now we could see broad daylight, so the guys got out, but as soon as I was going to go through the doors, they sucked closed. When I tried to get through, then the whole house tipped upside down, and I fell through the attic into another dimension. So this other dimension was also bizarre. This place was agrarian and kind of Earth-like. It was populated with humans, non-humans, and dinosaurs. But in this dream, this version of this dream, I was a man. I was the son of a Pepsi farmer. They farmed Pepsi, but no one knew that you were supposed to drink it. They just bottled it up, and then I don't really know what they were doing with it after that. So I was standing in this tent with a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi with what appeared to be refugees from somewhere. I offered some men some Pepsi to drink, but they said they never wanted to touch soft drinks again. They said soft drinks were the path that leads to our world's destruction. Now, they're saying this to me as they're standing there smoking cigarettes, so, So next thing I know, suddenly I'm on a futuristic transport device with massive numbers of people being transported somewhere on a 4-story high hovering bus. Aliens were running the transportation station, and they somehow knew I was qualified to work in their archives. They put me in charge of cataloging ruins and remains of some kind. When I got to start this, it turns out these ruins and remains were just everyday stuff from like the present time right now. Kitchen items, old food, just stuff. I remember seeing a fossilized Teddy Graham cracker, and that's when it hit me. I'm on Earth. But it was Earth way into the future after the Armageddon. Aliens had arrived from space. A new species of subhumanoids developed, and the dinosaurs came back. These aliens took over, but in a non-violent way. They just came to get the survivors organized because that's what they were best at, organizing. They were sort of like middle management aliens. Then their mission was to go from planet to planet, helping species get things straightened out and organized, and then they just leave. So I think I woke up sometime after the Teddy Graham thing, and that was it. So I was just going to get anybody's impression on that. And
when did you have this dream?
This was either 2003 or 2004. I moved here in mid-August 2004, so it has to have happened before then. And based on the things I've told you in my dreams, I can't tell if I'm more creative or I'm less creative. Probably less creative than it used to be.
Well, that is quite interesting dream, and you've had quite a few of them. And one dream in particular that strikes me off guard is, my love for zombie movies. And the thing is that I've never had a zombie dream, And, I
You
watch
want
these.
one, though, don't you?
I don't know if I would necessarily want one, but I know how it would go down because it would be like a
You're
scene
ready
out of
for it.
Walking Dead kind of thing. But you, on the other hand, you could care less about The Walking Dead. I mean, you go to follow your nails when I start talking about Walking Dead. And you, of all people, had a zombie dream.
I did. From what I can remember, it was almost like The Walking Dead, for all that I've never really seen that show because I think zombies are boring and predictable. So I was alone. I was just in like a neighborhood, a neighborhood that was just, had a lot of pine trees and whatnot, very normal looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew there was a zombie apocalypse going on, and I was just trying to find a place to get to for shelter. And I knew that somebody was organizing things, and we were trying to shore up this house that we got into, and nobody seemed to know anything. And I'm like, well, first, you idiots, you need to close the garage door and secure all the exits if you don't want them coming in here. And it's just like nobody had the first clue of how to do the most basic self-preservation, Mm-hmm. So that's all I can remember from it. I know there was more that I told you, but that's one of those things I didn't write it down, so, it's gone.
Well, it was definitely an interesting dream, to say the least.
Most of them are just effed up.
Mm-hmm. So, we're still got a few more minutes on the clock here before we take the break at the top of the hour. And
I can do another quick one.
Yeah, if you want to do another quick one, that'd be awesome. And then
I remember this dream.
Yeah, and as we get into the next hour, we'll open up those phone lines and get people to chime in and hear
tell us
some of
their
their
stuff.
things. So go ahead, Surlana.
Okay, this is the same year before I came here. Okay, this one says, I was living with my parents in this dream, but my room was in a detached garage apartment over the garage. It was nighttime, it was late, and it was hot, and it was humid. I decided to go back to my garage apartment to go to bed. What I remember is there was no paving or path to get to it, no driveway. That's kind of weird. Just bare ground, dirt. And for some reason, I didn't want to walk on that in the dark, so I decided to just float up and fly over there to the garage. Well, it turns out that was a good idea. For some reason, the only way to get into this garage building was through a tree trunk. So as I approached the tree, I noticed that the tree was covered, and the surrounding buildings and structures were covered in crabs, lobsters, and crawdads, or crawfish. And I freaked out and I hovered away. And as I was looking at it in the dark, there was these flashes of red, white, freaky kind of flesh-colored crustaceans as far as you could see, pulsating with color changes. And, that was weird. So if I go and type crab in the Dream Bible, let's see what that gives us. To dream of a crab represents an irritable or pessimistic attitude. Well, that's okay. Dead ringer. That's me, right? A crabby personality. You're someone else that's in a bad mood or talking down about everything. Now, I think that's a bit too pat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Feelings about yourself or something else, choosing to never respect anything positive or uplifting. Well, it does really fit me. An attitude that ruins other people's good mood. Yep, still fits me. Feeling that someone makes you jealous that you can't enjoy yourself with positive attitude. Yep, still fits me. What did I see? Crabs and lobsters. Let's put in lobster. Rock lobster.
Do.
Hang on, it's lagging. Lobster represents a difficulty in freeing yourself from a problem. Feeling someone will never stop talking about a problem even if you bring it up once. Interesting. Difficulty getting other people to stop reminding you of your negativity if you allow them to have any control or power at all. Sensitive, angry people who will not stop trying to control you with something they are angry at you about. Lobsters may also reflect feelings of yourself taking risks, discussing topics that are too sensitive for other people. Interesting. Positively, dreaming about a lobster may reflect your persistence with dishonest people, never letting go of someone who's been dishonest until they are honest. Get them in your little pincher claws and pinch them till they confess. That's what I say. Using any opportunity you can to persistently never let a dishonest person avoid responsibility. Negatively, dreaming of lobster may reflect petty or nauseating attempts to remind people of something wrong they did. Reminding people of their faults. If they made a single mistake, hypersensitive nagging or reminding. Never stopping to remind people of why they aren't perfect.
Well, that's very fascinating, and looks like we've reached that top of the hour. Hold on. Yeah, the microphones are working. And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe. I'm the awesome Spaceboy, and she's the lovely Surlana, and we'll be back right after this. This is Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Surlana. Explore the universe with us every Saturday night live on the SBU network and our replay on the pauk-radio-network. So we're back, Surlana.
Because I get to talking and reading and yapping, I miss people coming in to chat. So if I've missed Donna, Tina, Catalina, Feline Philosopher.
All the ladies.
Yeah, we were wondering where the ladies were about 10 minutes after the show. I said, boy, it's a real sausage fest in here. And then they all showed up. Yay! So thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all for showing up. Because without you, we don't have an audience.
Yeah. I thought maybe Michelle would call in, but do you remember the number, Michelle?
713-701-5214. And we're waiting. But until then, do you have any other interesting dreams that you've had, Surlana, that you haven't shared?
Oh, my gosh. I need to start writing down the more recent ones.
The honest, I used to have a lot of alien dreams, and, I haven't had an alien dream in quite some time.
I dreamed about David Bowie.
Oh, really?
I'm not even a fan.
Is it pretty freaky, man?
I've never been a fan. I've never minded that Bowie existed. I like some of his songs.
Is it because of me?
This is before I met you.
Oh, really?
I think. Yeah, I was at Applebee's on a date with David Bowie, a person I'm not even that much of a fan of. So, here she is.
All right, we'll put her through.
Yay, put an end to my nonsense, Michelle.
Hi. Well, you can hear my nonsense, though.
Let's hear yours.
I don't know. Okay, well, first off, I was trying to call you, but for some reason my phone wouldn't do it. It just kept on not calling.
Well, it senses your poor taste in phone calls.
Oh, no, that's not true. You guys are wonderful. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Space hugs right back at you.
Now, I have dreams. I have regular dreams like everybody else, the stupid things where you're walking around in circles and whatnot, but I also have visions. And I'm going to share with you a vision I had, and according to my journal here, I don't always write them down, and I really should, and I was being really good at this time because it was such an impactful one. I'm glad I wrote it down.
Cool.
But this was dated October 2nd, 2016. That would have been the morning I've done this, okay? Mm-hmm. Last night, I had another vision. And you have to excuse me because when I'm writing things, I write really stupid, I guess. Last night, I had another vision. As an example, I wrote last night again behind that. But I've had some questions put to me, and that would have been Gene. He asks me questions sometimes, and thankfully he stopped doing that because it's very hard on me, because I will get into a vision fest. And sometimes you can't decipher it until you sort of see it happening, but sometimes I can. It's very kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. So last night I had another vision. I had some questions put to me as to where the next big terror attack in the United States would be, and will it be before or during Christmas? Now keep in mind that's 2016. Okay, it has weighed on my mind, and it's been bringing me into a depression because it was I knew something was going to happen, but very depressed. Last night I seen it. In my vision, I'm not there. I am a ghost, which is very common. That's how I usually know it's a vision. I'm sort of
out of body?
Walk through people and yes.
Mm-hmm. I do that
I can just walk right through people and walls and everything and go where I want. And I sort of talk, and you'll hear in this, I don't know what I refer to it in here, but I talk and I can hear like whispering coming to me if I ask a question. It's like almost like another spirit person or the wind, or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll refer to it as the trees told me, because if I'm in the woods or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But okay, so last year, wait on my mind, and if it would be before Christmas this year, it weighed on my mind and it's brought me into depression. Last night I seen it. I'm not there. I'm like a ghost. I see hundreds, if not thousands of people running outside. They seem to be dropped to the ground as if dodging for cover. Then I begin to hear. So when I say I begin to hear, things come and they fade into me. It's like I walk into and I'm seeing something, but there's no noise. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I'll hear the noise around me. And then, so I think it's made so I pay attention to what's happening in front of me before I go searching for what's going around me, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the sound fades and I hear guns going pap, 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 kind of like the Rambo movie. His gun when he goes, it was like that. I move past and look to see one woman, two men. They're outside, but for some reason my attention is to this large building. Another was there. A hostage is what I feel. I asked, what is this? The wind answers, tear. That's when I said there's an answer. I usually describe it as something like the wind or trees or whatever. I ask where this is. The wind tells me, city of sinners. My feeling, and this is what my last bit of it, is what I derived from it at that time. My feeling is that the next big terror attack will be in Sin City, Las Vegas. I also feel it is well after Christmas, maybe even later than summer. I also feel that no one will know that it was a group terrorist attack.
And what was the date on your dream journal when you wrote it down again?
October 2nd, 2016.
Okay, so you're thinking this is upcoming event, maybe?
Or are you referring to what happened recently in Vegas?
Yes. I'm talking that is exactly what happened in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Now, Michelle, have you had more than just this kind of dream before?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's not unusual. I have them all the time.
And when those dreams, I mean, have they been so extreme as the dream you've had recently that it seems to come to reality? Have they been that extreme?
Yes, and I've also had things that I call almost like a spirit journey. Oh, yeah, they usually come right to a T. I'm never wrong. I've even had what I call spirit journeys. Okay, so remember the London Bridge attack in London? Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with me, but in the time zone of it, I said to Gene, "Hi, Gene, you're out there. I know. I give you credit." Anyway, I said to him, I said, "I'm tired. I need to go to sleep." And 2 seconds later, I'm dead asleep. And I went through this journey. It was the same night that the terrorist attack happened that morning, my time when I woke up, okay? Mm-hmm. It was just getting all over the news. I did not have the TV on. I did not have the radio on. The house was dead silent. This is no word of a lie. And I dreamt that I could hear London Bridge, the song London Bridge is Falling Down, mm-hmm. singing around me. And like little kids saying, it was really creepy. And that my hand was cut off, and I'm walking through this journey. Now, I'm not going to go through that because that would take forever. But what I can tell you about that, there were certain symbols, and I figured out what some of the symbols meant. And I'm going to tell you, and I don't want to, I know that you guys don't like to talk about ISIS or anything like that.
But we do love it when you say boot.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. A little Canadian north of the border. Okay. Yeah.
Don't interrupt your flow.
I'm sorry, Surlana.
I know. I have a very poor flow. You can't interrupt it. Listen, ISIS, the head of ISIS is not a man. This is what's frigging everybody up. It's a woman. It's a woman. I know that, and I know China is involved.
Well, it's definitely fascinating. So have you put any entries in your dream journal in reference to that?
I won't read any recent ones, okay?
Okay.
Because it's just, I don't think I'm supposed to. I can't explain that to you, but I just don't think that I'm supposed to.
Well, what do you think is the driving force that doesn't want you to share that and you know, since it sounds like you're not giving these visions to you to warn people.
Yeah, because if you're not allowed to stop something.
I mean, so why are you being tortured in a way that you're given this information through the dreamscape and not to share with others to protect others or to at least, you know, save others?
I will tell you, when you scream out and try to protect others, first off, I did not know the day of when this is, right? So you can't inevitably say, that's 100 salt proof. Yep. But I will tell you, October 1st, was the day, I believe, that terrorist attack happened. It kind of shocked me when I went back and looked at it tonight, when I seen October 2nd. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I think it was the 1st of October. Am I correct?
I'll look it up real quick.
Okay. But it was literally a year, because October 2nd was the morning of. I dreamt that the night of October 1st. I would have dreamt it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the CNN says updated 8:44 a.m. Eastern, Tuesday, October 3rd. But it said it happened Sunday night.
So it would have been the 2nd then.
Okay, so anyway, it's like a year.
Yeah, within a year. I mean, that's pretty, pretty close.
Yeah. 1 year, yeah. Yeah, basically, you can say 1 year from when they had the... Now, I've had some where I could almost say it'll happen this day. But who do you tell, Solana, this day and age that this stuff's happening?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like, who do you tell? Who's going to listen?
And I don't mean to get all biblical here, too. You could say that a lot of people are going to believe that, in the end days, there will be false prophets. So, who's to say you're right or be accused of being a false prophet? So I could see the stigma involved there.
Yes, exactly. I don't want people burning me at the stake.
Mm.
But, I mean, I do tell certain people, like Gene is for one. He's like the person I tell quite regularly of everything. And, all of a sudden, there it is. Boom.
I tell Spaceboy things he probably doesn't really want to hear. So, like my dreams.
In the Las Vegas shooting, just to back up my fact that I said there's 2 men and 1 woman involved, and in every one of these terrorist attacks that's happened, whether they found her or not, there's always been 1 woman with them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this Vegas thing, you've got that woman that the shooter was involved with, and
what about the one that was down there amongst the people warning people?
The woman that were warning the people that were going to die, and that was bizarre. I don't think they've found her yet, have they?
No, I don't know. I haven't followed it the last few days. I mean, I've been kind of really busy, but I know that's a very sucky reason, but I've been truly busy. We won't go into that. But anyway, but these are things that I see and that I know. And sometimes I don't even have to have a vision per se. Sometimes I spit out stuff that is very much, like, I'll give an example. There was a certain friend that I had on Twitter, and she said, well, tell me my future today, oh great oracle, because it was like, a little bit of a game we were having.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, somebody has stolen your bike. And she goes, what? Somebody did steal my bike today, because that was her mode of transportation. And I didn't even know she drove a bike. You know what I mean? Like, how do I know that? She's somewheres, and, I don't even know where she lives. And she's, somebody stole my bike. And I said, oh, okay, good, okay. And I said, that's all right. I said, it'll be dropped off somewhere. You'll find that they'll find it, discard it, because the right brake doesn't work. And they don't like your bicycle bell on it. And she looked at it, and she just stopped. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, this message went to a private chat, and she went, what the hell? Where do you live? Right? Like, and that's the truth. She was like, where do you live? Because she's starting to think that I might be like a neighbor or something.
Right.
And I said, I live in Nova Scotia. No, this is a real deal. She goes, holy cow. She says, because my bike brake doesn't work on it, so it doesn't stop good in the front. And she says, and I have the most annoying bicycle bell on there, and I've never been able to get it off. It came with the bike when she got it. I thought that was just hilarious. I'm like, okay, well, you'll find it a few blocks down the road. They'll discard it because they don't like it.
I was just say that'll be a fun surprise for the person that stole it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I imagine you put the hair on that lady's back, neck, just standing up.
Yes. Yeah. But I say these things And like suddenly something will come to me and I'll just say it, and it happens.
I used to play Scrabble online, Yahoo's version of Scrabble, with a woman that could tell me things about myself. I never met her in person. I never talked to her on the phone. We never exchanged an email. We only did chat in that game. And she told me things about myself that just put a chill in my spine. I was like, let's just play Scrabble. So, yeah. And she lived out in California. Yeah. I don't know whatever happened to her, though. She used to hand me my butt in Scrabble. I studied her techniques, and then I employed them on other people, and I got better and better and better.
Yes. But, and people like myself, I know I can't help when I say something and it actually comes to. My youngest daughter used to say, I had a couple of friends that would come around and I'd said something, and I always say it, and I'd say it like a joke. And my youngest daughter turns around and says, if Mom says something like that, jokingly like 3 times, it's going to happen. And I didn't realize that the kids had noticed it, because Molly would have been 8 years old when she said that. She just turned around and says, Mom says it 3 times and she's joking, it happens.
Do any of your kids have that same ability, or is it just you?
I don't think that not quite, no. I think they're intuitive, but they don't get visions. I know that. I mean, they know that they could tell me, so it's not like, they'd hide that, because it wouldn't be, I mean, how can I punish them for what my mother was very religious, so like, for me, I was full of demons.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know what I mean? Like, because not everything I see is doom and gloom. And I see happy things happen too, right? Like, you're going to find your bicycle. You're just going to go down 2 blocks.
So not all the dreams are filled with
foreboding.
There's some that are a happy ending.
And see, the thing is when the questions are put to me about it, like about these terrifying things, right? I'm more likely to have them, because my brain starts trying to think about it and give an answer, and then and that's how come I usually get these terrifying ones. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't say, I see happy things happen too. I mean, I see people having babies, you know what I mean? Like, I turn and look and go, are you pregnant? And they're like, no. 3 weeks later, I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say that to girls at work. Like, I'll know. They're pregnant before they know they're pregnant. And that's, in the nursing world, that's a happy thing. It's usually not an accident.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, you just sort of know things. So, so it's not all sad and gloom and doom, right?
I think of it as like the people who have that ability. It's like you just have a switch in the brain that's turned on, and the rest of ours are just off. We just can't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or maybe I just don't know how to turn it off, because it would be nice to have it off sometimes.
That's like, again, going back to Star Trek, where Deanna could, she'd do this mental trick to close herself off from feeling other people's emotions, so she wouldn't get intruded upon, so she can have her own space, So she'd learn some tricks so she could shut the empathic part of her off, so she could get some downtime.
Right? Yeah. It's I wish. But anyway, that's enough about me. I'm sure there's millions of others wanting to call in and share their great dreams of some sort. I'd like to hear normal, funny dreams. They're fun.
I have a ton of those, but a lot of times I don't write it down. Mostly mine are taking up with still trying to find that funnel cake. So
well, here's the freaky thing is I don't often write down my visions either. I write them down. I'll get to a little jag where I'll write down my dreams and then I stop. because I'm not very good at just doing that.
I have one here that's funny, but it's like a little longer, and I'm thinking this may be only funny to me, so I didn't really go over it. So
okay. Anyway, you guys, thank you for doing what you're doing. Love you. So I'm going to let you go so other people can call you.
Back at you, Michelle. We love you too.
Thank you for sharing.
And thanks for being a hardcore space cadet.
Thanks for hearing.
Yes.
Thank you for hearing it. And hi, everybody in Space Cadet Land. Hi.
Awesome. Hi.
All right.
Gene
now,
likes funnel cake too.
yeah, well, who doesn't? So before we take another call and before we get to our break at the bottom of the hour, I wanted to share something with our audience about a dream. Well, kind of a couple of dreams I've had. Well, the first dream, lately I've had apocalyptic dreams, and I think
I've had those too.
These dreams I had recently was due to the fake. The world's gonna end because we're gonna get hit by a planet smasher or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So in the first dream I have is it's you and I, and we're kind of sitting on a grassy hill knoll or whatever, and you can look up at the sky and we could see something huge coming. It's definitely going to kill us both. And I basically I'm turning to you and I said, well, this is it. This is it. Hold my hand, and and if there's anything to say, let's say it now. And and of course I woke up from that dream.
Hold your hand. You better be on a full-on bear hug.
But anyway, that was that dream. But here,
that's kind of sweet, though.
Yeah, but then again, I have a dream like this. This next dream I had was, where we're running, and it was like, and I know you haven't really seen the movie 2012, where this big
bits and pieces
body of water's coming down this freeway, and in a split second, you're having difficulty running, and you can't run anymore. But I feel like I still have all the energy in the world to run a marathon to get away from this wave and actually survive. And at that moment, I am faced with a choice. Do I leave you behind and try to save my own life? Or do I just say, this is it, and stick with you and die with you? And before I could come to a conclusion, it was kind of like the ending of a cliffhanger for a season finale movie. And it ended right there and I woke up. But when I woke up, the amount of guilt that I felt over the dream, I could still feel it. So in other words, the feelings of the dream transpired into my conscious reality when I woke up. In
reality, it won't be a problem because you can't run with broken kneecaps. So I'll take care of that for you.
So yeah, so there you go. Those are two dreams that I legitimately had sorrow that I think, and when I look at those dreams,
I had apocalyptic dreams too.
Is that I didn't want to die. I had so much more life to live, and the first dream, I think that there's, as you know, I might have some separation anxiety. Because
does that mean you actually care about me?
Yes, I do care about you. We've got this far, and it's worked so far. We're not out yet. I want to know. Anyway, so
only I get that reference.
Yes. So there are times when I've had several dreams where you're no longer in my life, and there's this empty void, and I hate those dreams.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'm being mushy right now, but it is true. I
dreams where
I have those dreams where
I know I need to get back to you. Like I'm at home and I'm visiting. My mother's still alive. I'm visiting my parents. They're still together because she's alive. And I get like caught up in their concerns and their drama and the things they need for me to help them do. And I'm like, wait, I've got a life. I've got a husband. I want to get back. I have a job. I don't have to stay. I can't stay here. And I'm trying to get back to you. It's like midnight and it's raining and I'm trying to get back to Texas. And so that's my version of that anxiety. But I remember having a dream about hell. I don't know if I was in hell as a resident, but I remember seeing a monk going through hell, and he was like it was in a stone medieval we call it the bottom of a castle, the dungeon. The dungeon. It looked like a medieval stone dungeon with cages with straw in it, and people were being tortured on a rack, like the medieval tortures. And I saw it, and it was just blood. Remember the old Doom? It was just blood everywhere. It was like that, and body parts hanging like the old Doom game. And I'm seeing this monk go through this endless maze of stone corridor, and they're starting to get smaller and smaller. I'm like, oh, he's going to get crushed. But he manages to get out into this opening where it's just a big stone room. There's nothing in it except off to the side. There's just maybe 10 steps of stone. And there's this wooden door, and there's this bright light peeking out through the cracks and between the slats. It's blinding. He goes and opens it, and it's literally a back door to heaven. That's all I remember.
Well, on that magical note, all I can say is hopefully those apocalyptic dreams don't come true. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, because ours are terrifying.
So we'll be right back after this.
from the 80s.
Yes, indeed.
They went through their soft rock phase.
Yeah. Yes, hard. So, yeah, we were just, jibber-jabbering behind the music there, and that song is called No Fate by Spaceboy.
What would be your favorite or movie or that you enjoyed that has to deal with dreaming?
Well, I kind of brought one up.
Yeah,
Kind of
go ahead.
is not Inception, although I do like that movie. One that I saw back as a kid in '84 called Dreamscape.
Oh, love that movie. I have the DVD.
It had Dennis Quaid in it, and I can't remember the lady that was the other actress in it. But in this dream, or in this movie, he's able to project himself into people's dreams. And of course, in that movie, if you died in the dream world, you died in real life. And so...
Totally not true.
I thought it was a pretty decent movie. In fact...
Well, what he had to do was get into the president's dream.
Yeah, because he was having apocalyptic
dreams. And then there was a bad guy who was trying to make it happen, and it was pretty interesting. I could have done without the wishy-washy love story.
Well, you got to have some wishy-washy love story involved.
No, you don't. Not if it's lame. Like that was. That was so lame. Hey, guess who's calling?
Who's calling?
Are you there,
Oh,
Bev?
yes, I'm here.
I finally put your name in front of the number. So I knew it was you.
I finally got you on my contact list in my mobile.
Well, that's about time.
How are you doing?
Oh, not bad. Just sniffling from allergies.
Oh, we're just dying down here with allergies.
Aren't
It's just
we all?
horrible.
Aren't we all?
Oh, I know. It's terrible here, too.
Because it's still 90 freaking degrees.
So,
In
Bev.
Texas.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well, it's not that hot. I mean, it's humid a lot. So, Bev, tell us about your dreams and keep them tame because if Bob's in them.
No, I don't really remember my dreams.
Oh?
Yeah, it's like I don't dream. I don't know.
You do, you just don't remember it. You're very good at
That's
not
what
remembering it.
That's what people say, but now I can remember when my dad was alive, though. I always knew when someone in the family was going to be hurt or a death would occur in the family because I dreamed of him in a coffin.
Wow.
And maybe about a week later, something happened in our family. But the weird part of it is, I never dreamed of that when he died.
So,
And since he's been gone, I haven't dreamed of him like that. Now, that's weird.
yeah, see, you just reminded me of another dream I've had where I dreamt that I was actually on a morgue table, and they were, and they had draped, I guess the blanket, or what do you call it, the shroud over me, and they were pushing me back into the thing.
Did you have the toe tag?
I don't recall having the toe tag. I just remember being unable to move, being aware that I was dead, and that I was being pushed back into the container thing, and I was very cold.
The drawer?
Yeah, the drawer.
What do they tag if you don't have a toe?
A leg.
What if you've got nothing from the knee down?
Well, maybe a hand or a finger.
Okay.
And if you're one of these hipsters, you probably tag the ring in the nose or on the Manolo or whatever.
Now, I used to sleepwalk a lot when I was a kid.
Wow.
My mom and dad had to be constantly on alert.
That fascinates me. I just don't know how you can be not awake but up and doing stuff.
I know.
It sounds like your sleep paralysis was turned off.
Yeah, it must have been something.
Because you're supposed to be immobile if you're in REM. I guess maybe you're never in REM.
I don't know. The last time I slept walk, it's been about 8 years ago, something like that.
It's kind of like
Bob
being
and
a
I
zombie.
lived in Astoria, and I was doing a lot of overtime, and there was a lot of crap going on at work. And
Stress.
Bob I guess he was on the phone to my cousin, and I got up in my nightshirt, had my purse, had my keys, and I was going to work.
I think I've been there too when I've worked too much, you know.
Wow. It's so automatic. You just go when you think it's time, huh?
Yeah. And so he had to guide me back upstairs to bed. But, you know, they say you can't wake you up out of sleepwalking because it will traumatize you.
I wonder if that's true.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
go ahead.
my doctor, well, our family doctor when we were kids, said that, you know, he said, do not wake her up, just guide her to bed, and she'll go back to sleep. He said, if you wake a person up and sleepwalking, it will traumatize them.
Weird.
That is indeed.
I know, isn't it?
The human mind is a mystery and a conundrum all wrapped in one.
And the dream about falling, I've never hit bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Bob has, and my dad has.
Well, how many drinks did you have?
Oh, Space Boy.
I'll hit him later.
Okay.
Okay.
But, you know, and what's weird is they say when you dream of and you're falling in your sleep, if you hit bottom, you die.
No, you don't. If that's true, I'd have been dead years ago.
Yeah.
I think
I've been
Bob
dead
has
by the
hit
time I was
bottom,
7.
And my dad has.
I think what it
The
is
dreams are weird.
I think what it is those who are maybe be in poor health and have the experience of feeling like they're
Excuse me.
they're falling. It could be just a panic that creates or
I think it's like loss of control.
agitates a condition that's already there. Is what I'm saying.
Ah. Oh, so I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. But it's dreams can be so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I can always tell when Bob is having a really vivid dream. Oh, my God.
too.
Is his legs moving like he's a dog and he's like trying to chase after something?
He about knocks me out of bed.
Okay, Surlana, are you going to say anything about
Yeah,
I was just
well-
waiting for Surlana to say something.
So Spaceboy can't snore. He had that surgery.
He
so
needed something fixed.
he's got that fixed.
Oh, man, Bob.
But he does everything else instead of snoring. He hoots, he hollers, he giggles, he moans, he groans, he makes clicking noises, he rolls around side to side like I swear the other night it sounded like somebody was torturing him. He was just like he was in horrible distress. And I mean, and my instinct is I should just punch him. You know, not wake him up gently, like just punch him in the arm hard as I can.
Well,
But I don't ever do it.
The other day I had to go to the emergency room.
Bob could rattle windows with his snoring. Now, I used to be that way too, but I have a CPAP machine now.
I need one. I just can't afford it right now, so.
Well, without insurance, we couldn't afford it neither.
Our insurance changed at work, and it's like the crappiest health insurance you can think of, and it covers nothing.
Oh, man.
I can't find a doctor. I can't find an ER clinic. Nothing. It's just horrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Not within a certain mile radius of where we live, so I'll just get sick and die.
Travel 200. You have to travel 200 miles to get to a doctor now?
I don't know. They don't take my insurance, so there's plenty of them around. They don't take it.
Jeez. That's crappy.
And my workplace went with the cheapest. I know they just went with the cheapest one they could find. They didn't care about what it covered.
Man.
I guess they think we're all, 25 and young and fit.
I wish I was 25 again.
I bet you that's why there's so many people retired so quickly before September 1st. Was trying to get away from that terrible insurance.
Well, and, without insurance, you can't afford nothing.
Yeah.
Now, see, we've got to have dental work done, but we got to wait, which reminds me, I got to call our insurance company, because Bob thought he had the Premier dentistry insurance along with the health insurance. Well, turns out we don't. So it only covers
our dental's
extractions and cleanings.
Yeah.
But I need extensive dental work.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But,
oh.
Okay. Well, hopefully you don't dream about your teeth falling out.
There's no problem there. I don't have much teeth left.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, again, I do remember one time I was dreaming. Bob had left me at, where was it? I think at Myers. And I had to call my dad to come pick me up. And when I got home, I was waylaying him, and he woke me up, and I was beating on him.
Like goodness.
No, Bev, I don't like the fact that you're taking enjoyment out of beating up Bob. I think it's wrong that it's a thing that's happening, an epidemic that's happening through America where wives are beating up their husbands.
I never touched him.
Why? That's why I had to go.
Violent anger.
I had to go to the emergency room the other night because I had a broken rib.
I don't know what he's talking about. I asked him over and over, like, could you just please stay in your quadrant? There's no need to come over to this side. There's nothing awesome happening over here.
All I wanted to do was get a hug from my wife and reassure her that I love her.
It's too hot for that.
And what'd she do? She pulls out the brass knuckles.
Your body is putting out 30,000 BTUs a second. It's already hot enough.
When we have the one day of winter, you will wish you had all that BTU.
I have the world's snuggliest blanket. So. And
you have the world's huggiest husband, but you won't accept it.
You sound like Bob and I. Well, you know what's funny is, I used to be the one that was always cold. And Bob, I'm telling you what, man, he was always hot. And now it's reversed.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, Bob probably still thinks he's hot.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, he thinks.
We had it started out as a heated text exchange.
Oh, God. Well, I can only imagine what she's about to go down.
A heated what?
Text exchange over the phone. And I said, when you get home from work, because I get home before, I said, we are going to have a serious adult discussion about my pillow.
Oh, my goodness.
Uh-oh.
And I had stayed home from work because I was so headachy, coughing and sneezing. I was really bad.
She was playing hooky.
I was not. I mean, I have the doctor's note to prove it when I went to that ER clinic that doesn't take my medicine.
Anyway, she puts this pillow between us, and she, in the middle of the night, all I did was touch the pillow. I didn't take it. I didn't,
You were unconsciously yanking on it.
I was not yanking on it.
Yes,
you were feeling me roll over and hit the pillow, and you automatically dug into me with your claws. And
I have seen you hug on that pillow.
Yes.
It was an unauthorized hugging.
Look,
it's my pillow. I have two.
When you leave the room, I'm hugging on that pillow.
I'm going to take my pillows and put them in a closet when I leave.
I'll hug those pillows whenever I want to.
How many pillows do you have? How many do you need?
I have one pillow that
Why can't you buy more for yourself?
Not the point. At the time, I'm trying to teach you the thing of
I'm trying to teach
sharing.
You not to...
And you refuse to share.
I
couldn't
breathe.
You're very selfish.
I could not freaking breathe, and I was trying to stack them so I could breathe.
You couldn't breathe.
And you're constantly touching it.
Breathe. The only time you use that pillow is to put it over your head, and I don't want to be blamed for your death.
Well, if I die, then, whatever. You get all the pillows in the universe. So
then it's not the ability of teaching sharing.
So he calls me. He gets off of work, and we call, and we have this discussion about the pillow. And he made me laugh. So I start coughing so bad it hurt my chest. He says, are you going to have like an elaborate PowerPoint presentation about this pillow when I get home? I said, as soon as I feel better, I'm going to make the world's most elaborate PowerPoint presentation about my pillows and your quadrant and what you can and can't do.
And so the moral of the story is one should not jump to conclusions until they have all the facts.
I suggested, he has this pillow, Bev. I swear to God, I don't know where this pillow came from. I never had it. I didn't buy it. This pillow just like appeared out of nowhere. But it's like, if you know what the Tempur-Pedic bed is made of, that really kind of firm foam, but it's not a Tempur-Pedic foam pillow. But
Yeah.
it is like the hardest brick concrete foam pillow. If you try to have a pillow fight with this, you'd knock someone out cold and they'd go to the hospital. So I suggested, because it's so firm, it could stand up on its side. I said, what if I put that pillow between us as like a windbreak where you know to stay over there? He's like, hey, are you trying to build walls between us? I'm like, I just want you to stay on your side and stop touching my pillows.
And it's moments like this that, Surlana, you're tearing this marriage apart, and I don't know what to do anymore.
That's going to be hysterical when we sit down in front of the divorce lawyer and say, well, he kept touching my pillow.
You would
Officer?
say that.
And I just couldn't take it anymore.
God.
The thing
Now
is,
you sound like Bob and I with blankets. You know what he does with his pillows? I don't know whether he does it consciously or unconsciously. They all get, a brand new pillow. In a week, it's wrecked because he balls them up. But I don't think he knows that he does it. He must do it in his sleep.
I don't think you do. The only thing that's a bit odd, we don't share blankets, and I think that's probably the only thing that's probably keeping this marriage together. He wraps himself up in his special blanket like a little burrito, and he's happy. So he doesn't use the sheet. Like,
that's too much. I'm too hot.
I have to have, the fitted sheets on the bed. It goes all the way across like normal. But the sheet that you pull over you, I have that. It's the whole king size sheet for myself.
So she has the sheets. She has a quilt. She has a crochet thing.
It's not a quilt.
She's got a fleece blanket thing.
It's not a quilt.
It's almost like, that story of the girl that slept on the mattresses and they put a pea in there.
Princess and the Pea.
She sleeps underneath all the mattresses.
No. First of all, that blanket has a print on it that looks like a quilt. It's super thin. It's just a little Walmart blanket.
What about the green thing?
What green thing?
There's a green thing that you have in there.
That's a sentimental thing.
What is it?
My mother crocheted that.
It's a quilt. A
it's
crochet
not a quilt.
thing.
It's a crocheted Afghan. And I have that at the foot of the bed because it keeps the covers weighed down.
She's got an Afghan. She's got a lima. She's got a pack of llamas. She's got everything you could think of on her side of the bed.
Pee, I swear.
Bob usually don't cover up.
Mm-hmm.
He usually sleeps on top of the covers.
I hope those blinds are closed. But
and he hates it when I make the bed and I tuck the sheet in hospital style.
Mm-hmm.
He can't stand that. Well, his legs are so long, he says, I feel like I'm trapped. I can't move my legs.
So when at the end of the day, what it comes down to, Bev, is that she's like the old Soviet Union with the wall in Germany. She wants to put up this big wall between us, and I'm like Ronald Reagan. I'm like Ronald Reagan. I'm saying, Surlana, tear this wall down. And so, that's all I'm saying. Is
I thought that would
can we give peace a chance?
I'm conflict.
Asking, we could have peace in our lifetime, and it's just a matter of tearing down the wall.
I thought if that pillow was there as the wall, it would lessen the chances of you getting into trouble.
What trouble would I?
Touching my pillow, doing anything freaky. You had your elbow in my zone, and it just bothered the hell out of me because it was just there, and it was there, it was there, it was there. And I was just like, it's in my way. please get back to your quadrant. I don't know what you're doing over here.
See how she talks in terms of quadrant and zones, and next thing she'll be saying to me while I'm sleeping, papers, please. And I'm like, what? I won't be able to cross into Switzerland or anything like that, you know?
I like to reenact 1930s Germany in the bedroom. And
you guys remind me so much of Bob and I. I'm telling you.
I'm deadly serious about the pillow thing, though. I'm not. This is not a comedy bit. He's got to stop touching my stuff.
See, and it's a matter of we've been married for too long now, and you know, it's a matter of sharing and sacrifice.
How long have you guys been married now?
Long enough.
Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 11 years. But we've known each other for 12, 13 years. I know. Yeah, look, I know.
Bob and I have almost 31 years.
I know we don't have the mileage y'all have, but you know.
Yeah.
But it feels like it.
But when you start talking like dog years, you know, that's a long years. You know, a lot of years.
Oh. Yeah, Bob always says it feels like it's been 100 years.
Yes. We have a California king-size Tempur-Pedic, and some nights it does seem like he's in another zip code. But you know, when I need to get his attention, I know how to, roll over 4 or 5 times, show him what's on my phone, and then I go back to, my zip code.
The point is that when I want to go over there and visit her and hug on her, and
you need to make an appointment.
What? Well, I'd love to make an appointment, but your calendar is run by your calendar is ran by your pillow.
Well, I can't tell you. It's just a harsh mistress there.
Harsh mistress.
Yegmaker, the DMZ. Well, like in Star Trek, the demilitarized zone, where it's all lawless.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was going to say. Oh, Lord.
I've dreamed about him stealing my pillows.
Okay. Well, Bev, we appreciate you calling the universe.
And starting up a big fight.
It's always a pleasure to talk about pillow fights instead of the dream topic. You never know what you're going to... we start with one thing here at the universe, but we end with something quite off the deep end.
Instead of having pillow fights, you guys need to have pillow talks. Bob, quit playing with my ear. Oh, sorry. I can't handle anyone playing with my ear. He walks by me.
Oh, Bob, you crack me up.
Chills down my spine.
Well, it could be chill somewhere else, but that's another talk.
Now,
it says here, to dream of pillows represents feelings of comfort that nothing is wrong with what you are choosing to avoid doing, and you tell yourself to feel comfortable, not changing your mind, a wish to be comfortable, being passive about a choice, feeling comfortable and safe with your choices, awareness of yourself, not being desperate, or it may reflect an excessive level of confidence that nothing you're doing is wrong. I think that's directed at Spaceboy.
What? This has nothing to do with the dream world. This has everything to do with the physical reality of what we call the real world.
It's called marriage.
Yeah. Well, Bev, we're getting close to the ending. We got to let you go so we can finish up a few things. But, we love you, dear, and you know that, and we love Bob, too.
I love you guys so much. I love talking to you. Oh, I laugh so hard. I about cry at times. I'll tell you, I can be down and just call you guys, and I know I'll be in a good mood when I'm done.
Okay.
Well, that's fantastic.
Hang on to that feeling. We'll see you next time.
And remember, no pillow fighting, pillow talking.
All right,
Bev. We'll see.
We'll see.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you guys.
Love you too. Bye. Oh my gosh, K28 he typed a Tholian web pillow. Another Trek reference.
Yeah, I love the Trek references. Those are always good. And then, of course, Kay has been on fire all night.
Oh, yeah, he's usually on fire.
Yeah, so there you go. Another exciting adventure when exploring the universe with Spaceboy
I'll probably go back and listen to that part.
Yeah, so, but, here it is. We're getting to the final few seconds.
If nothing else, we got to talk about Maker Faire.
We'll make it snappy.
If you're in the Houston area next weekend, October 21st and 22nd, Saturday and Sunday, at the George R. Brown Hall C, I believe. Mm-hmm. Come on down. Bring your kids. Bring the young kids with you, too. There's something for them to do.
Even bring your goat.
Or grandma. Everybody can get a hands-on experience doing something. You can make your own jewelry, soap. You can learn about virtual reality, play virtual reality for yourself. You can learn about 3D printing, the amazing stuff that's going on in learning technology, like you said, with violin. And then that woman is coming who's a professor to talk about space structure and infrastructure and architecture. That's going to be fascinating. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some recorded interviews and you can learn more about these awesome makers here in Houston and abroad.
And that is the 21st and the 22nd. Now, Space Cadets, please remember that next week will be a classic SBU episode. We plan on replaying our episode with Daryl Sims, the alien hunter. So tune in for that. So some great, exciting stuff. And then, like I said, and Surlana was saying, we'll be at the Maker Faire, and a lot of that audio will be played on the 28th when we come back, and we'll celebrate our anniversary, our
wedding anniversary,
which will be our 12th year, actually.
As we call it, Pillow Angst.
Yeah, so...
Part 2.
Other than that, say goodnight, Surlana.
Nah.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Surlana. Executive producer is Surlana. Social media producer is Dennis Koch. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Mark S, and Bob N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Surlana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.